Something we hope you'll really like.
Don't be such a square. Everybody who's anybody drinks.
Smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling anything. Chief, I smoke perp to the haze.
How are we supposed to follow that?
To the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel.
My dog stepped on a bee.
And I ain't feeling.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Don't be such a square. Everybody who's anybody drinks.
Smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling anything. Chief, I smoke perp to the haze.
How are we supposed to follow that?
Haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel.
My dog stepped on a bee.
And I ain't feeling. Chief, I smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling.
Brutal Monkey is right. All the uploading takes hours.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
And now,
Impressive. Most impressive.
Oh yeah, it worked. Thank you. Yes. Welcome, Dank Tech. I saw you in the chat. Thank you, Rumble. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Kick. Thank you, Twitch. Oh, yesterday I was on a roll and my laptop crashed, ending everything. It finally decided to act right about 6 in the morning today. I got everything to work back up. I was having a super struggle. I pressed a button to play a video and the screen went black. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. I never turned this laptop off, so maybe that had something to do with it. But good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sauced Up Sunday. Got my little coffee. Enjoying myself. Let's see who's up in the chat right here. Ah, just me. I need more than that. I need all of you. Okay, good morning. Steven, good morning. Yeah, I went to play a video yesterday. That was the end of that. That was the end of the live stream, and I was just getting started. I didn't get to break the Discord out or anything, but I'm glad y'all came back in. Our usually scheduled show, Sauced Up Sunday. And we are going to party. I got a video here from Frenchy Cannoli. We're going to go over the origins of hashish. What else? AJ, I believe his name is, speaking about the origins of sour diesel. Got a little bit of comedy for you. I actually don't have any real news, but I got a bunch of clips left over from yesterday I didn't watch on the 300th episode celebration of the Grow Variety Show. And this is what I think episode 36, 35 or 36 of Sauced Up Sunday. So we've been rolling over half a year. And we about to go ahead and get into the Frenchy cannoli lesson. Let me not delay anything. Let me try and keep it extreme. Got my little Captain America on. Let's do this. Okay, so where we at?
So now that you have an idea, a little bit of the history of cannabis, it showed me really two hotspots for me to look for the birth of hashish. I have most certainly the Levantine corridor, that Lebanon-Israel territory, where the oldest evidence of hashish was found used as an incense.
Oh yeah, okay.
And
we saw this yesterday.
Aromatic resin was precious in the time. You could buy kingdom with frankincense and myrrh, and most certainly cannabis resin was part of those aromatic incense that were rare and precious, and somewhere somebody was making it and keeping it secret, most certainly.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all watched the live stream yesterday. We went, well, the whole point of the show was to go from BC, before cannabis, all the way to present day. I got stopped about halfway there, but we did see in India, like Pakistan, Iran, different remnants that when analyzed, there was leftover THC. Now, I was just thinking of burning flower. I wasn't even thinking about hashish, which would have been the preferred way to carry cannabis through that treacherous terrain of the Silk Road and the hippie trail. And he's just kind of referring to that now, the ancient times, like kings and great warriors were buried with cannabis.
That there is really no clue in human history to
be
on. So I have a hotspot on the Laurentine corridor with an evidence of hash, and then I have that hotspot in the Tarim Basin where there is the evidence of cannabis use, like the flower. What's interesting is that in the English, when they were in India, they wrote a lot about the trade of cannabis resin in the territory. And the best hash was coming from city oasis in the Tarim Basin.
Okay.
It stopped when the Chinese invaded the place in the early 1900s. So there is a culture of hash there that was born sometimes after 2700. On the other side of the Silk Road, you have Lebanon. They had been making hash for longer than that.
So, okay, he just mentioned the Silk Road right there. And that was an ancient trade route, basically from China going all the way to India. Now, in the 1960s and 70s, that route got reversed and became the hippie trail, where people from America and England basically would travel all the way to Thailand, in the Middle East, travel through Pakistan, Iran, Turkey. And he's saying, kind of even before this has been documented, people in Lebanon were making hash.
And then you have the Himalaya. The Himalaya, it's the land of charas, it's the land of hand-rubbed resin. But it's very much defined by the climate of those territories. It's tropical, but it's tropical in the mountain. The plant grow up to like 9,000 feet. And
That's cool. I got
Charas
distracted
is
drinking with
the
myself.
oldest
Don't worry, Steven.
technique used to collect cannabis resin. And it may have started straight up with
My
Homo
drinking
erectus.
headband on for the day.
It could have happened from the Levantine corridor to anywhere in to China, to the birthplace of cannabis, and it could have been literally millions of years ago.
Okay.
There is not that many places, though, that still keep the tech. It's at the feet of the Himalaya. It's basically mandatory because of the level of humidity there is in the air. You don't dry stuff there. So the tech is still collecting live resin in your hand. There is 2 places in the world that have a world recognition for quality. There is the Emerald Triangle for their cannabis flower.
Emerald Triangle, California.
And there is
Okay.
that little village in a really remote valley of the Himalaya, the Malana
India.
Cream. That's why I was there. If you want to do if you wanted to do cultivated cannabis, that was the valley you wanted to be in the 80s. This is the main street of the village.
Oh, man.
And that's not the field. And that's what's growing on the side.
So what he's talking to, what I barely kind of got what he was saying. It was a delayed reaction, my bad. But he was pretty much referring to the climate being so moist that they're not able to actually dry the cannabis out to make like a dry sift or anything like that, because they're such high on the mountains, the elevation. They need to go way lower to get that done, in like drier climates like Pakistan, India, Turkey. A little more dry, so you could dry the things out and have a dry sift, which I think India is kind of more known for as well. But he was talking literally hand rubbing fresh plant and getting the resin off of it, letting it accumulate in your hands and just collecting it that way. It's a very old, like the oldest tradition, the hand rubbing tradition, but he's saying it's one of the best ways to get high quality.
Side of the house, it's bigger than usual because there is a lot of water and refuse from the house, like vegetable water and stuff that goes there. So nobody touches that. But it's pretty beautiful when you walk through it. This is how my field was. That's a cultivated field there, but cultivated in the mountains there. You break the ground.
In there?
You throw seeds at the raining season, and that's basically it. And to collect the resin on your hand, it's pretty simple. You need to take off the main fan leaf, and you need to caress the plant. So your hand are your tool. Your hand cannot be sweaty because water will hamper the stickiness of the resin.
Real quick.
If it doesn't stick, it doesn't work. And you cannot have oily hand either because it wouldn't stick either. This is maybe after a few hands. You see layer by layer, it adds up until you have a full hand like that. Once you have a full hand like that, the trick is to take it off your hand. And that's how it looks. So it's clean, but it's not ultra clean because it's pretty difficult to have perfection.
Cool.
This is what's called jungle. There is 2 types of cannabis in the mountain in the Himalaya. There is a wild grow that have been growing there for more than
30,000 years.
Damn.
And you have the cultivated cannabis. There is less and less wild plant, more and more cultivated because of the demand of the market. I was telling you about Malana. This is what they do in Malana. That's called Malana Cream. Or this happens when snow falls on a plant, melt, and you can go back to your plant. There is a dryness to the plant. They've been burned by the snow, but the resin is super intensified, and your ash looks a lot like that. Then there is Nepal.
Shiny rock.
Nepal is pretty much the same culture than northern India. They have a long tradition of charas. We don't really know when it started. They are really known for their
like the hand rub,
temple bowl,
pure hash.
but not a Nepalese temple bowl. This is like the cheap version of the old tech, the royal Nepalese temple bowl, where the outside layer of the resin is hardened up a little bit like you would do a Parmesan cheese. So there is a
College
crust,
rock, more like, I think.
around the ash that protects the inside and the inside edge. It looks and feels very much like an eggshell, basically. And in Nepal, it's interesting because they have a more diverse region. It goes from really like rainforest, like tropical, to high plateau, the Mustang Plateau, and you have a diversity that is pretty unique to the place, which is pretty small, actually. I wanted to show you that comes also from northern India, from Kashmir. They protect the resin in corn husk. And literally you can see the resin seeping through the husk. It's a pretty interesting way, but it kind of give a taste to the resin. It's not bad, and it's pretty interesting because it's part of the charas, but it's not quite the same. So now, how do you go from collecting live resin on your hand to making hashish?
Yeah.
This dry plant through a sieving tech. For this, you need to go from nomadic to sedentary. Only a sedentary life or a semi-sedentary life can give you the ability to do that. Our ancestors were certainly using some type of woven receptacle like that to do the chaff and grain separation. This is one of the oldest woven basketry that is still in use in different parts of the world in nomadic tribe. So when you do that separation, there is a lot of a cloud of that fall down when you break that plant material. How long would it take our ancestor to connect that cloud of invisible little particle falling down and that resin that stick on your hand? Difficult to say, but to do that, you need to be able to have a lot of plants, you need to be able to dry them, and you need to be able to store them. And you need a tool, you need a sieve. You need to be able to separate through perforation of a tool the plant material and the resin gland that you cannot see.
Okay. Thank you, Frenchie. Rest them plants. Wow, that was informative. Okay, I barely got that in there. Yeah, I kind of got most of what Frenchie was trying to talk about. But that was interesting to, I guess, hear from the man himself. He's pretty much, I guess he was one of the foremost people on hash. You clearly, he did all of that off the top of his head. And he spent 30 years working with plants, hash. He's got a lot of disciples. The Dank Duchess is one, I believe, is a disciple of his. And she still uses the warm wine bottle to press out the hash, roll it over, press it out, press it about 3 or 4 times, roll it up. And that is how you get that like Nepalese shine that it had. You can kind of, if you were to break it, you can see the difference in color variation. The outer layer is very dark and the inner layer is like somewhat tan or sandy, but definitely lighter than whatever the outer layer is. And yeah, that's not easy to acquire. It takes quite a bit of time, dedication, and of course your knowledge applying it. But I admire that for the fact that while he's doing a tradition, like he said, before they were even recording what was going on, there was people doing it. So to go all the way back to BC and still have this knowledge and still being in practice today, I guess is more what I'm trying to say. It's amazing to me. This is something that I could actually do. So it's tapping back to the ancestors. I always find that fascinating. Oh, I can feel it now. I only got a little bit of beer, but I was tanked up yesterday. I went up to 4 beers and all of that. So right now, let me queue up our next video. I gotta remember what okay. It was Sour Diesel. Just wanna make sure I get this right for y'all. I'm starting to get it a little better, starting to be a little more smooth in everything that's going on. I can transition a little better. And I don't have to focus so much, so I can, I guess, kind of give you a little bit of talking while I'm working, so we can get all of this together. Okay, so that's the Frenchie thing. We actually watched it. So this was it. Okay, this is what I'm trying to find, the Sour Diesel talk. And I believe the guy is AJ, who discovered Sour Diesel. Oh, let me fix that. Okay. Yeah, I just gotta blow the screen back up. And actually, let me do this, because for some reason, I seem to be blocked out by the video. There we go. Oops. There we go. That's better. Feel like I got my respect. No, you don't need that portion of it. My bad, let me go back. There we go. All right, so we all ready for the next video. My bad about that. I want to hear something a little bit about Sour Diesel now. What was that, Steven, yesterday we were talking about Chinese strains. Like, I guess, like Southeast Asia strains. We were talking about China, and I guess through the videos we were watching, it was Vietnam, Thailand, things like that were being pushed out. And that's genetics that we don't necessarily talk about too much. So it's very interesting to hear that come up in the chat, and also that being a subject that we were referring to. I think it'd be very interesting for breeding. There's no telling what you could really pull out of that strain. But the next video we're about to watch is a legend. Think people would kill people to kill people to kill people to get a true cut of this. This is about the origin of Sour Diesel. Now, I want to say this is the first Smoke of the Day podcast, which I really enjoy. I could be wrong about that, but we'll find all the credentials out when we're watching it. I hope everybody's doing well, had a good week, is having a great weekend. I definitely am. I lucked up. I happened to plan this thinking that, oh, my live streaming on the weekend wasn't going to work out. I can't really live stream on Saturday because of family matters, but my whole family's sick, so they're incapacitated. So this is the perfect time to stream, baby. I'm loving it. How we doing out there? Okay, boy. YouTubers. I'm happy. So I talked all that trash. Let me go ahead and show the video. We can get into the Sour Diesel. We can smoke a little bit. Laugh, enjoy, learn some more. That's kind of the whole theme of everything. So here we go. Some sour.
Starting at around 2008 or 9, New York just started getting hammered with weed from California.
Yeah.
And growers who grew sour had come to expect that they were going to get paid at least $6,000 a pound.
Damn.
But when there was like indoor weed all over New York City for $2,500 a pound.
Okay, Stage 1 podcast. My bad. I said first Smoke of the Day.
Stage 1 podcast. Stoop to Store.
Okay.
Legacy to Legal. Here with my man Jason LRX. Scotty Knox.
What up?
And the man himself, AJ Sour Diesel.
Hello.
Okay.
And we are here to talk about
I thought I remembered that.
this product. I mean, just in general, New York cannabis and how far we've come, and the importance of Sour Diesel as a strain in New York cannabis,
That's for you, Steven.
from like a long time ago before it was legal, and just ask the guy who brought this, who's like known as the man behind this myth of a plant that we've all been chasing for the last decade, and now he's bringing it back to the market with Flower House. So thank you very much for joining us, AJ. We really appreciate you being here. This is amazing. Yeah. And so let's just want to start out by asking you about the importance of Lark Street, because we talked a little bit before the show about that, so I really kind of want to dive into the importance of Lark Street, because I'm from Lark Street. So when you mentioned that,
okay, Lark Street, I'm interested. I know nothing about Lark Street, so this is dropping dimes. Okay, and I guess this would be, for California, like one of the medical clubs or cultivation clubs, like pre-rec, when they first became legal. A home where everyone all starts. And I kind of understand that. Like what improv clubs are like that. A lot of those people go on to be on SNL and things like that. But a hub, home brewers, I believe what the California Home Brewing Club in the 70s brought us Sierra Nevada, Lagunitas, and I forgot who the freak else I wanted to say. It's not Stone Brewing, but it was a revolution because Anchor Steam Beer was kind of taking off. Sierra Nevada, Lagunitas, and I'm trying to think of the other California brewery, but they all came out of the Maltese Falcons Homebrewing Club, which was a play on the 50s movie, the Maltese Falcon. So the Maltese Falcons, and they basically homebrewed beer back in the 70s, and that brought us quite a bit of the homebrewing revolution through the 80s and 90s, and I guess kind of ending now.
At that Sour Diesel and Lark Street, I have a link. I was it piqued my interest. I'm like, oh man, I need to hear about this. So, any you want to care to elaborate on that for me?
Well, yeah, sure. I guess back in like 1992, a couple friends of mine,
15,
and I were living in the city, and occasionally we would come up to Albany to see, Fish concerts at the Palace or something like that,
Yeah.
And so I think 92 or maybe it was early 93, Fish was playing like a 2-night run at the Palace, and so my friend Colin said he knew these guys who lived in Albany and that they'd be at the show and that we could stay at their house.
Albany, here we go.
Take the train up here or drive.
For you,
we wouldn't have to go all the way back down to the city. We could stay up here. So that was the first time I met the Albany crew guys.
Yeah.
And they had an apartment on
the Albany crew. Nice. Okay.
Lark Street. And so I met those guys after the Fish show the first night, and I stayed at their house on Lark Street. And eventually, I would get to know those guys real well because they would come down to the city. I was always finding good weed in the city, so I would hook them up with head nugs sometimes. They'd come. They'd always stop and see me if they were in New York, and and then eventually they became like a group of guys that I hung out with.
Did you know Branson?
On Grateful Dead tour, throughout the next 2 years, and it was really like during that time that that I started hanging out with those guys that not only was getting like good weed so important, but it was like super competitive, to always flex and be like, yo, I got, whoever everybody ran to, it was like we didn't have the Cannabis Cup, all right? It's if you're all at my apartment, I won first place, So so we all kind of through our communally, we placed an even higher value on good weed to the point where it became the most important thing in all of our lives. Was like,
I can relate being at 15 at this age. But okay, so Lark Street is in Albany. That was something interesting. I was kind of wondering about that. And this is just basically a hub of home growers. So this is very interesting. And he's getting in because he's getting, I guess, in New York City and bringing weed up to them, or when they're coming down, he's, you know, having it in his possession. So that keeps him around. That's decent.
like getting that good weed.
Yeah.
And so
you gotta start somewhere, man. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Kind of like a huge part of the story is like getting together with the guys
because it's
on
that
Lark
principle.
Street. And,
that's awesome.
Because they were fucking weed maniacs. Like we thought we were like crazy, but they were like, you know, obsessed with weed. You know, they'd spend their last fucking dollar on weed, and so it was kind of infectious when we all got together because we were all weed dealers and we were all hunting down the best.
Hunting down the best phenoms, right? The best.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Those guys got it from a bag seed of ChemDog, right?
True.
And came from some guy named Weasel, correct? Is that true?
No.
No.
It was all a collect. It's like, it's so funny. It's like, I'm telling you.
Okay, because I think I did something on Sour Diesel. And I remember the name AJ from that, but I do also kind of remember Weasel coming up in that. It's been so long. I just constantly take in information. So it's hard to dissect when and where a lot of times. And that's another reason that like days blend together for me, because I'm constantly listening to some kind of podcast or seminar or curriculum from anything, business, cannabis, how to grow. It's so much information that I take in. It's hard to dissect. And then when I regurgitated, I couldn't tell you when I said or how I phrased it. But I think I remember something. So now, like, AJ got a bag seed from when he bought some weed from Weasel. I think that's what I remember hearing or reading, I should say, and even saying. And he's basically refuting that right now. So this is interesting for me.
It's like that, us getting together with the Lark Street guys really did like create a monster because I met JJ from Top Dog in Wetlands in like 1992 when I was in 92, I was 19, right? And he was about 10 years older than me. He had good weed, so kept buying weed from them.
You're 4 years older than me?
And then eventually I met Mike Klopp, who was one of JJ's plugs at a nightclub in New York. And so then I started
Am I going to go all gray in 4 years?
From Mike Klopp. And then I would get the ChemDog, and then I would call the Albany kids. And I didn't even make money off them, right?
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I just want that. I want to be like, yo, come on over. I got the Diesel. So basically, you know, they started coming to see me every time I got they get in their cars, drive from Albany down to New York City. The second I said it's here. So
I remember those days, man.
Nice.
In 1994, I was spending the summer living in Amsterdam, and
what a dream.
One of the Albany kids was like fiending for the Diesel, so he decided that he was going to go down to the same nightclub because, you know, I told him I met this guy at the club. So he went down to the same club, which is Wetlands, and he just staked that place out, and he shook that place out until eventually he found the guy. And once that happened, then he started getting, you know, Diesel from him too. At first it was like me and JJ fighting over it, and now this dude, V, now he's getting it too. So we're like, oh, why are you gonna give him any, you know? And so we are so competitive, and and so when I got back from Amsterdam, I had a friend who had diplomatic immunity, so I mailed him a kilo from Amsterdam. So when I got back, it was waiting for me, and so You know, I was running around with a kilo of really good weed that I bought. That I found over there. And I saw Mike Klopp, the Weasel, right, in Central Park, and I showed it to him. And I'd just gotten back from living there, and I'm like, oh, damn, you should go there. It's so great, man. I can't, you know, and he was asking about seeds and what strains and what he could acquire there.
Normal question.
And I was like, dude, you just got to go there and check it out. So he flew to Amsterdam a couple days later and came back with a whole slew of seeds.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And so...
Oh, man, he was about it. Oh, man. Yeah, if I had the money, that's the power move I'd make. It. Let's do a weekend warrior in the Netherlands. Oh, what? Get a rack of seeds, smoke a rack of good weed, and come on back like nothing happened. Road trip, plane trip.
Yeah, there's like, you know, maybe like 5 or 6, you know, potential fathers of the seeds that got out to me, that got out to V, and another guy who were living up here.
That's worth it,
so
man.
we
Wow.
automatically were like, well, we got to start growing weed now. Because
and now that you mention that, I didn't even think about that, Stephen, but now that you mention that, I'm guessing a lot of the weed that we attributed to Canada being on the East Coast, it was probably also a lot of Albany or upper state New York. Like, you know, I classify Buffalo pretty much as Canada or whatever for all intents and purposes. And I'm guessing they played a big part in this more than I'm really giving them credit for. So that's interesting. The blueberry cut, like, whew. And in a way, it does seem ridiculous to be paying $5,000, especially that $5,000, which was more like $10,000 for us now, or $15,000, I don't know. But with the potential that you can make off of it, like you can literally keep it forever. I mean, I get it. It seems ridiculous if you're, hey, I'm just a home grower. Yeah, that might be out of pocket, but for, you know, hey, I know what I got and I know what you can do with this if you put it in the right hands. Eventually, it won't be like, what did he say? They're expecting $6,000 for a pound. So you can definitely get that off of one plant. And then, yeah, you got more plants to go or like next year. So I can kind of understand. But geez, yeah, just to hear that. I mean, I don't have that to spend on anything. So that's outrageous to me. But in the grand scheme of things, like how dude could fly on a plane, go to Amsterdam for a couple of days and come back with a bunch of seeds and had a great time and a bunch of great stories. Yeah, if you live in that life, I think it's worth it. That's a solid investment. I mean, yeah, for years, that's a solid investment. In the sense that I think we take for granted because we're growers and don't have to buy it, that we start losing the price tag on it. It's just, you know, normal life. But if you had to go out in the street and get the amount, pay for the amount that you're using, sheesh, that's a significant portion of your income.
Because we need to have as much diesel as possible. So we all went out and got grow lights and started growing weed just because we had these seeds. And so I had one seed that I started growing, and I, you know, in like a doorman building in Manhattan, and then that's where awesome. I was living, and then
in Manhattan,
V and M up in who had rented a house and moved from Albany to the Catskills.
Even further north
to build a grow. They were growing their plants, which they were calling Diesel 1 and Diesel 2. And when you talk to them, they think, you know, they think Diesel 2 pollinated Diesel 1, despite that they were both females, because Diesel 2 had a couple tendency to make male flowers, and it was from a Diesel 1 harvest somewhere in the Catskills that I think it might have been Wyndham or Tannersville. A couple or 2 or 3 other seeds.
Right up Binghamton, ain't it?
And it was one of those seeds that became the sour diesel,
Wow.
which was planted in Schenectady.
Utica?
Which was planted in Schenectady.
Oh, wow, that's
Shout out
right,
to
Schenectady.
Yeah, for real.
That's
where he lives. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah.
So okay, yeah, and that happens. I've noticed that from outside. Like, I'm starting to think now. I was just thinking 2 days ago. It was more like 2 days ago. I was breaking up some of the Colombians. That's what I'm on now. It's going from a vacuum sealed pack of original haze. Once I finish that, okay, going on to the next vacuum pack of Colombian. And I found another seed, and I was like, well, hold up, wait a minute. What if it's not each plant individually pollinating itself? Because I found quite a few seeds in like each plant that I grew. From the chocolate haze, I found some seeds. Found some seeds in the Colombian. Found some seeds in the original haze. Found some seeds in the octane haze. That was the other thing I grew. I had some for the octane haze. And I was like, okay, they each individually pollinated themselves, but what if it wasn't? What if one plant pollinated all of them? Because, yeah, you don't need much. Once that microscopic dust gets in the air, like I think one sack can pollinate like thousands of things. Each individual little thing can, in theory, pollinate a plant. Like it just needs to touch one branch. One little trichome hair, one little dusty thing, one trichome hair that's pollinated. So you only really need one. What if it was just one plant that did it and not each individual plant? The Colombian pollinated itself, the original haze pollinated itself, the chocolate pollinated itself. What if, say, it was the Colombian that pollinated all of them, or the original haze that pollinated all of them, or the chocolate kush that pollinated all of them, or the original haze that pollinated all of them? I don't really know. I had to rethink myself. Like, wait a minute. I'm assuming because the plant was so massive and bushy and jungle weed that basically it could contain itself. It's like one little corner that got some on the inside. But what if that's not the case? It's not superseded up. So that's why I always attribute it to self-pollination, like a S1 seeds. But what if that, now that he's saying that, what if that didn't happen? I'm curious.
Hunter Mountain, Schenectady.
Right. So when
how would I even know?
The city and upstate connect, it's
the Emerald Triangle of New York State.
New York State, seriously.
I have a question for you, kind of related to what we were just talking about. How did you come up with the name Sour Diesel?
Well, we used to sell.
That's about an hour and a half. Okay.
There used to be this guy Larry, who owned Wetlands, right? Mm-hmm. And me and my friends, we worked in the Echo office downstairs. So we knew Larry, our office was right next to his. Mm-hmm. And so.
I don't know why I keep going to that. I have to chat up here. Well,
one of us sold Larry some weed one time, and it wasn't even Chemdog.
Yeah,
it
definitely
was
paid
something
for
else.
it.
But he was like, yo. Because he had never smoked weed that tasted good and that like worked really like that well. And so
I'm just thinking about the taste of the diesel.
Like, getting all crazy, warning us that like we're smoking laced weed and we got to stop. And
we're smoking laced weed and we got to stop.
Laced with terpenes.
Yeah, it was like, but he just like never smoked weed.
Never smoked terpene weed before.
It's laced and we got to stop.
So
I'm not finished.
So it just made me nervous, like. Because I'd gotten that reaction from other people before. People weren't aware of
this
like
is laced and we gotta stop.
Like good quality weed and what it's actually supposed to be like.
That's not good quality weed. That's upper echelon, like extraordinary weed.
In the early 90s, and then
and Colombian
early mid 90s,
right?
bricked up.
Or BC weed too.
If they were lucky, then but you probably didn't even see BC weed unless you already knew what weed looked like.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think you're selling sour diesel short. I didn't mean to stop it, but like the Colombian I got is good weed. The original haze I got is good weed, but they ain't sour diesel. Like, gelato is good weed, but that ain't OG Kush. I mean, I get what you're saying, but let's put things in perspective here. There's good weed, and then there's like legendary weed. And Sour Diesel's definitely legendary. I couldn't believe what I was smoking. Like when I had some Sour Diesel, there's nothing like it. Yeah, there's nothing like it.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
So I decided to call it the Diesel because I just didn't want to. It was such a good thing, and I didn't want it to be spoiled by the fact that it had the word chem in it, because people thought that like
chemical.
People were treating weed with chemicals.
That's what when I say GMO. Well, there's people in the dispensary here about GMO. They're like, wait.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, I don't want that. Like, I'm like, no, that's the name of the strain.
It's the name of the strain.
You tell them it's garlic, mushroom, onions, and then they're like, oh, okay.
He looks like James Gunn now. That's
so
funny.
I changed it to the Diesel. So
Except
we
he's saying
called
forward
all
instead
the
of back.
iterations that came out of ChemDog Diesel, because people were like fanatical and crazy. They're like, I want the Diesel. I want the Diesel. So you didn't bother explaining. This is a seed of the Diesel. You're like, does it have that gas smell? This is the Diesel. Oh, yeah, this is what I want. So I called it the Diesel, and
it was very citrus
it was the
too.
Albany kids who. When one of the Albany kids used a bucket, allegedly, I wasn't there, that had a number 5 on it, and it had been labeled our Diesel because it was like.
Oh yeah, okay, I've heard
from the
this.
Catskills. It was there.
It's there.
This is our Diesel.
Our
This is
Diesel,
yeah.
yeah.
We made these seeds from Diesel 2 and Diesel 1, right?
Right.
So this is our Diesel, and
Wow.
but someone who was visiting the grow saw that there was like a 5 on the bucket, and then it said our Diesel, and the guy said, "What's sour Diesel?"
Oh, wow.
And that's literally
That's how it was named.
But it was Sour
and
Diesel. It
I
was very,
there,
I
but
forgot
that's-
about
but that's
that
the
part.
story.
Not only
That's the
citrus, but it
first-hand
was
story
kind
of how it all
of tart
went
and
down.
sour.
So it's really
It
sour
was
with the
candy.
5.
It's hour, yeah. The sour with the 5. That's sick.
That's super dope.
Yeah, man.
But it's just, but like,
Oh, shoot.
it was the perfect name because it
I don't gotta
did
do
make
that.
everyone
I'm
sour. It spoiled
more sophisticated.
relationships. It made people. Everyone was
what I
mad
heard.
at
Beasters. Yeah, I don't know if I had that. I hear Beasters coming up a lot in like the early
You
2000s.
didn't give me any.
And I don't know if I had any. I'm very curious about
There's
that.
like the debate of like sour or haze for New York strains. It's like one of the top New York strains,
It's the
legendary of all
Beasters.
time, and you have like rappers debating.
Okay.
Like, is sour? What's the
It was
best one,
Ithaca,
sour or
not.
haze,
I
you
said
know?
Utica. I think it was
And it's
Ithaca.
like-
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
all
think
funny.
I meant.
They
Ithaca
love
and
sour and
Binghamton. I
haze.
remember that. He
Exactly.
went on vacation up
War is
there.
like between like sour and haze and OG.
Right, exactly. It's like, and everybody loves it all, and nobody's hating on any of it. It's just
I know
like,
that sounds
what's the,
weird.
It's like
Yeah,
all
what's
fun.
better,
Yeah, what's
sour
that,
or
right.
OG?
Like it's that competitiveness that you were talking about, though, you know. And it's like even in the world.
Yeah, I said we went on vacation. Like my friend's mom had a timeshare in the Catskills. We chose to take it in the wintertime. Like she could pick it any time. She had one of them packages. We chose to pick the Catskills. We chose to pick. My friends did all of this, but it was like an indoor-outdoor pool. You could swim indoor. It was a regular pool. And then it was like a wall, and you were able to go outside to the outdoor pool. And that was pretty sweet. This was like 2002, something like that, 2001. So they still had like DVDs, and you had to call to the office to get them to play the movie in your room. But they would do it. They were pretty cool about it. But we went up there and we noticed like Binghamton College and I guess Ithaca. It was hard for me to really remember a lot of the names of the cities and name of the cities and the name of the different roads that we were on. You know, because basically you'll see a street sign, it'll say 3 different things, but you know, you kind of concentrate on the one direction, but like, oh yeah, it's like Freedom Town or, you know, whatever. I just said that to the left and, you know, New York City to the right or, you know, going in that direction. It starts to get to those parts. But I definitely remember we saw Binghamton College because we made a big deal about Tony Kornheiser went there. And like Ithaca, I think wasn't too far. Did we come through Ithaca? It was so long ago, I kind of forget now, but this is very interesting. I never would have associated that with growing. even back
But it's
then.
like
So some
Sour is
beasters.
always a contender. You
It's
know
a
what I'm saying?
beaster.
Kendrick versus Cole.
Right.
Because if you like Kendrick, you like Cole, and if you like Cole, you like Kendrick. But people like to put them next to each other, so
And
it's
say
like
who's
the,
better.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's the
Yeah.
weed version of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No doubt. Speaking of like the classics and whatnot, what do you think about some of the modern terp profiles, like the Candies and you know, like the
Desserts.
Gelato family and all that new stuff? What do you think of that? I think I know what you're gonna say already, but I want to know what you think.
Look,
about it.
if it's good, it's good, right? And I'm not dissing anything that specifically that
Wedding
you're
cake
gonna
was
name
nice.
or anything like that.
Right,
but
right.
it's just, it's almost like it's today. I don't know. A variety of cannabis can only be popular for like a year, and then it's like. It's fucking whack. It's passe, and now you have to have it's always the next. Where, you know, where we came from a time when like, you know, like
you wanted to keep things
certain
alive.
strains reigned supreme for like decades.
Because let's talk about genetics. Like, can the genetics improve throughout the years and stuff to make so you can work on it and make the flower?
Well, okay, my theory on like what he's saying, I do believe to be true. Like, what's the newest thing you got? But I think that's due to it being legal and so many people can produce seeds. So I like the stuff I see now and seeds like Zittles crossed with Zittles, and it's kind of a name game. You're trying to get your return on investment is where all of this kind of comes from. You're trying to create the newest thing. You know, hey, remember when Runts was popular? Let's mix it with the newest thing. And I saw kind of the same thing with beer. Like, yeah, I came here last weekend, but what you got new? Like, beer don't even... it doesn't make itself that fast. Like, it takes time for this to happen. So the fact that you're trying to rush through like this whole cycle of things, you're basically going to burn things out. And I get what he's saying. We're just getting variations of the same thing. Like like he said, the gelato family, the cake family. Like, it's starting to be just very like the OG family. It's starting to just be variations and plays on pretty much the same thing. And I think that does oversaturate things to the point where somebody's looking for something else. Like, oh, well, here's, you know, this, but with a cinnamon twist. Okay, here's this with a lemon twist. And I probably would go for something else if that's the case. Or, you know, hey, here's the lemon Jolly Rancher. Okay, here's the orange Jolly Rancher. Here's the sour apple Jolly. Yeah, okay, yeah, let me just go ahead and get something else. Like, I get how that trying to create new strains even creates burnout. It's like self-defeating in a way.
Or even better, right? So it's like, how can it become passe after an amount of time? You know, things get better with time in general?
Always trying to build a better mousetrap.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of things to work with now, right? So if you want to breed something, you know, you have a huge palette to work with.
Right.
Genetics have never been this accessible, where, you know, if I want to have, you know, some specific varieties of weed, I'm willing to pay for it. I can track it down and be growing it within, like, you know, a week.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it used to be that, you know, you had to go through great pains and lengths and beg people to.
You gotta know a guy.
And beg people.
You gotta know a guy.
Or you had to go to Amsterdam and hope that, you know.
Okay, this the $5,000 talk.
Right.
With that being said, I'm curious, are there any cross strains that you did enjoy? Like, do you have a favorite? Like, for example, we have the Lilac Diesel, or any type of variations that might have stood out to you?
You know what? This is like half of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and let him shine. That was, what the hell was the shit? Yeah, podcast. Like, check it out. It's on YouTube. Just put AJ and the origins of Sour Diesel, and it'll come up with that. Like, I want to give them his shine. I don't want to be like that. I definitely want to give him his opportunity to finish the rest of that interview. Like, let them get the view. I don't want to just sit here and watch it. I think that's a little unfair to them. But I think it'll be fair if we do, if I do give you the opportunity to watch it yourself, let them get the views they deserve for their podcast. Supporting everybody. That was pretty good. I thought that was decent. We got a lot out of AJ. I learned a little bit about him. Learned a little bit about Sour Diesel, how everything kind of came about, the circumstances of why he was even there. So I thought that was pretty informative. Learned about some Sour Diesel. What did we learn about first? What the heck is the first thing? Oh, we learned from Rest and Plant Frenchie Cannoli. I thought that was nice, and like this hit home for one of the viewers. I'm pretty happy about that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Modern Variety Too Tough neither. We made fun of Beast. There's a lot of people do that I hear of. I wasn't aware of it until I started listening really to a lot of Future Cannabis Projects people. And what's Breeder? I forget dude's name. He started out in Canada. Now I think he's in Brazil or Colombia or something like that. What the heck did he make? He's famous for... It's not a version of Blueberry, is it? I can't even tell you what the heck it is now. Shoot. But he is talking about Beasters. That's the first time I ever heard of Beasters. Breeder J? Is that his name? Shoot. What the yeah, I'm struggling real bad on recalling that information. But that was the first, like, okay, 3 years ago was the first time I ever heard of Beasters. So you bringing it up is funny, like, oh shoot, Beasters really affected other people. Okay, he wasn't bullcrapping about that. I'm guessing what happened is through the travel of cannabis, all the Beasters got bought out before it even made it to us, so we ain't even get a chance to sample it. Because at a certain point in the 2000s, probably about 2002 to maybe like 2010, it was like 400 an ounce. Everything was dro. And like it was Blueberry, Sour Diesel, like things went through phases. So I don't, maybe it was Beasters. We were getting something called the Zona. So perhaps that was Beasters and I just don't know it. But yeah, I never actually got a chance to get Beasters myself. Ramen, like I don't think I ever got any ramen, especially looking at the pictures that I see. I'm like, yeah, that look like alien weed. I never saw nothing like that. And isn't that like, I think that's like from like the Korean War. It's how that got brought over. So I'm not, like I guess like the Vietnam War brought us, away from Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, like Thailand. And it brought us a myriad of different countries to come and work with through that. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Romulan kind of comes from the Korean War, like war veterans really used it. But then, yeah, I don't even think I've had any Romulan now. Oh, you haven't tried sour before. That sucks. That was a phase. Like, from me having this show, show program, whatever this Sauced Up Sunday is, for me having it, it's made me realize, from just having a channel, how much research I've had to do in so many different directions because I see certain things that I'm interested in and I basically want to talk about it. I guess in my roundabout way, I'm advocating or trying to give a voice to whatever the topic may be. And it seems like pretty much like grow houses or whatever, people will buy them up. I don't want to kind of go racial or whatever, but we've seen a lot of murders. We even did the news story on the people who were like enslaved in the grow house to work for people. And I think it becomes that situation. That's, I think, what I've heard, at least from certain people, they just outgrew Blue Dream, and like they just grew the shit out of it, and it started becoming inferior quality, and they just really flooded the market with it to the point where nobody, you know, everybody who smokes has Blue Dream, and nobody wants it anymore. We kind of on to the next thing, I guess, especially with the inferior quality Blue Dream. So I guess that's phenotypical expression or genetic drift. I don't know what that would be, but things get played out in that way. I should say that, like, you know, certain people will take over the market and that's all they'll grow, as Sour D's will say, or all they'll grow, to bring up Blue Dream again, or all they'll grow is Purple Haze, and just grow the shit out of it because it's a well-growing plant. You can pretty much, you know, do about 80 days or whatever turnover, or 70 days, whatever turnover, 60 days turnover. And you just don't want it anymore. And that's probably what happened to Sour Diesel, I think. Like, there are cuts of Sour Diesel out there, but, like, you know, you'll be in a $5,000 situation. And I think it's worth it if you really want it. It's hard to come up with it, though. That's the thing. Like, the part with it, that's, I guess, a motorcycle, like a Honda, you know, like one of those sports joints. So it's hard to part with, but Sour Diesel is one of those, like, it's worth it. Like getting an OG cut or something like that, that would be worth it. My mind is failing me. Sorry, it's been a 2-day drinking binge, and I can't recall a lot of the information that I need to make this all the points connect. But they were definitely different phases of weed, at least from where I was. I was in the DC metropolitan area, so like Northern Virginia, Maryland, and District of Columbia. So I think we were like a good port. Like, that's a great destination, but also that transition from Canada or New York to DC, like, you know, trickle down New Jersey, Delaware, whatever. So we got a good chance to get, you know, once all this stuff people, I guess, couldn't afford or didn't want to buy came out, or they didn't buy enough of it, that's where we got a hold of it. And then you go down to Virginia and so on and so forth to the Carolinas, and kind of the Carolinas are expecting the stuff. They're kind of lost in the sauce almost. Virginia Beach, I think, is as far as it goes for the Carolinas, and then you got to get your stuff from Florida. That'll be your version of New York. But from that, things went through phases. That's how I was able to get a hold of, like, the RFK skunk, with the blueberry when that was popular, the Purple Haze when that was popular, Sour Diesel, Bubble Kush, just Kush when it was popular, Gucci Man time, Kush is my cologne. And they were all very distinct. Like, I definitely remember how pronounced each of them were. Like, even smoking the original haze now and smoking, like, South American strains, I guess Central American strains, I do notice a difference. Like, in smoking Cali Ose, having some of that. Like, we did go through our phase of California weed, and we also went through our phase of Colorado weed, I guess, in the late 2010s. Like, we were flooded with a lot of Colorado weed. Edibles became popular, besides just getting flour. But before I do that, I'm getting parched. So let me go ahead and update the body count, and we can proceed to the talkings.
Got a higher body count than yours.
Well, should I add this to your body count?
And luckily, these is twist offs. So don't me and Mir can get a rest. I don't feel that I'm worthy anyway to lift it up. Yo. But yeah, I missed Beasters. It was something else I know I missed. People talk about who are from, I guess, above Maryland, DC. Not Beasters. Super Skunk. Super Skunk, I think that's what it is. Yeah, baby. Sorry. And I miss Super Skunk and White Widow. I didn't really get a hold of any of that. We did have some pretty potent Afghani. And I believe that was that before or after Skunk? I think that might have been after Skunk. Yes, that was after Skunk. Because I think I already kind of knew what to do when I smoked some Afghani. That was the time I was in the bathroom in high school and basically had to stay there for like 50 minutes until it, like, whatever passed. I got overloaded. I blacked out. My head was heavy. And I just had to close the bathroom door and put my feet up on the toilet and sit on like the back of it. So if in case somebody came in, they wouldn't mess with me. They wouldn't see, like, they opened the door to check. And it actually worked, I believe. Security came, opened the door real quick, didn't see nobody, left out. That's what I was hoping would happen, and it actually worked. But I got the Zona came and went in like the mid 90s. It was a point, I guess it was election years we was really getting affected with. We would call it drought times. So we were only able to get the Zona, what was that, like 93 or 94? Then like 96, 97 or something like that, 97, 98, it came back. And I'm judging it like that from sports seasons and I guess like school, college seasons, like the years that I went. That's why it kind of sticks in my mind like that. But let me go ahead and cue up the next video real quick so we can, keep rapping and I can keep everything going, in some kind of flow, I hope. I guess. Yeah, I just slapped this together. I wasn't really feeling it, but I was hoping I really wouldn't need to have to feel it to get today accomplished. I was just hoping that I could just go on instinct and do the right thing and just get the stream alive. And yesterday would be practice for my muscle memory to get today correct. Cause it looks like I didn't really, oh yeah, this was it. This was something that, there we go, cool. Bang, bong. Okay. So this was something that I do. Everything's set up. Everything's cool. I use magnetic gardening. Now, when I was... I'm a loser. When I was young, I used to watch a lot of public television. I guess that was like really the only thing that was on at the times I was waking up in the morning being like, anywhere from 6, 7, 8, 9. This is when I remember that the most. And they would have programming on for kids at like 6 in the morning, but like at 7 in the morning it would stop and it would be more educational. And they had a gardening show, so I ended up watching it. There's a video, I haven't watched it. I had the thumbnail to it. It came up in my feed and I was like, oh, this is the video for when I was a little kid. It's a dude who used beer, dishwasher, soap. I forget the other crap he used. But he was like, spray that on your garden to electrify it. And also you can put magnets around your garden and like wire to pretty much electrify the garden. Use the fencing basically to put an energy field around it. And I was like, okay, always kind of stuck with me. So like last year I actually saw that video, like this old school method, does it still work? I think was the name of the video. So I still have to do that one on this. But this is about electroculture. They pretty much same kind of premise, like an electric fence. So I guess low grade electricity around a plant. And it seems to somewhat work. When I looked it up, that was a talk on the Future Cannabis Project about 2 or 3 days ago. So I listened in on it. I was like, okay, this is what I think it's going to be. I'm just going to go ahead and be surprised, listen to it. And I started looking for videos on it, and it seemed to be pretty legit for the most part. I'm not going to say it's like a 50% increase in your plant growing. But like we say with everything, to get optimum 100% out of your plant, for the sake of argument, the weather, these were more gardening plants, so non-medicinal, fruits, vegetables, things like that. with the weather, growing them outside, you already are not going to get 100%. Like, it's, you know, the weather, the rain, that's going to make it so you're not 100% gaining it all the time. So with that being said, to get as close as you possibly can to that 100%, you're going to have to chip away at it. With that being the case, you know, adding the silica, adding the micro-rising, the brown rice vinegar, adding magnets, any little thing, you know, this 2% increase, this 0.5% increase, this 1% increase, this 17% increase. Like, that's chipping away at actually getting you to, let's just say 98%, 99% optimal expression out of your plants, whatever it may be. If it's a watermelon, it's sweet, juicy. If it's orange, citrus, you're getting that tartness, you're getting that sweetness, you're getting that effervescent explosion of the Valencia terpene. When you crack the peel. So anything you can do, I guess, to help optimally grow your plants, that's what we're going to do. That's pretty much, I guess, what you have to do. Adjusting your lights, you know, raising the heights of them inside the grow tent. These are different things that pretty much, oh, that was bothering me. These are things that pretty much, it's the same equivalent, what you're doing to try and maximize your growth potential, getting you to that 99%. It's going to be very rough to get it to 100%. I'm just saying, you know, human error, weather, whatever you want to call it, the plant being rough, you know, something going wrong with the soil, whatever it may be, very hard to get 100%. And I'm just saying that for myself. I can definitely speak for myself, but I never think that I get it 100% right. But I'm definitely striving. As a matter of fact, in the garden today, we have a lot of fallen trees that have been in the backyard for about 4 years. Now they're falling apart. I'm starting to use them as mulch. The humic acid, the fulvic acid, is pretty much a lot of broken down, you know, chunks. It's got micro-rising and all types of stuff in it, more microbial life. So I spread that out in the garden today, and I still have more to do after the stream. But that's what I'm trying to do to recharge the garden, doing everything I got at it. All hands on deck, baby. Because, shoot. Let me crank this video up. And I can show you a little bit what I'm about to put in the garden. Nothing impressive. Like I said yesterday, I just didn't get the cups yesterday. Yeah, man. I'm glad the computer didn't crash. It worked itself out. But yeah, I'm gonna bring over the cups and show you what we're growing in the garden this year. I got big plans, baby. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and crank it up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Expedition Homestead. On today's episode,
all right, I'll be right back. I got a weird
talking about electroculture and bringing higher energy force into your garden. Yes, that could be a real thing, and that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna be setting up electroculture stakes and some big electroculture antennas in our garden today. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Stay tuned. So very first electroculture stake that we have in the garden is right here. We are going to set up a total of 4 electroculture stakes and antennas in the garden, set up in a very specific manner. The very first one we have twisted all along this copper piping, coming up in a clockwise manner. From the very bottom, we have the copper pipe pounded into the ground about 1.5 feet. Then the actual copper line, even though it's making contact with the pipe, is also in the soil about 1 foot. Going clockwise all the way up and then expanding up at the top at the antenna. The antenna, make note, is facing north. We have this facing due north. So the opening of that antenna right here, if you look right above it, this way is north. That is very critical in order to make sure that we're capturing the dielectric fields all around us. That's the direction that it's got to be pointing.
Okay, that was interesting. Like, I rarely show the outside of the. Let me go ahead and get this shit. I rarely show the outside of the fence that I'm using. It's in a couple clips. The like outer border. It's just regular garden fence. Like, so let me try and get my finger. Yeah, this is like the size of the grooves. It's like probably what 3 inch opening, a 3x2 inch opening in it. But it's staked out, and I have pretty much rare earth magnets staked on, stuck on every stake around there for an electromagnetic field. Well, just a magnetic field, excuse me, not electro, just magnetic field. And if nothing else, it's a placebo for me. Like, I can't literally tell you, there's guaranteed results. This works. Why isn't everybody doing it? But me knowing that there is some benefit to it, no matter how minute, even if it's like, near beer, 0.3% increase, I'm willing to do it. I have a lot of rare earth magnets, and why not? Why not do something that works? So the electro part is interesting. This is something I've heard of for quite some time. It was so niche that I never really decided to delve into it. But now that there seems to be information on it, why not, learn up on it as much as I possibly can. Here we go, baby. And don't he look? Yeah, he look like he know what he talking about. Definitely.
True north, right? If you're off a little bit here and there, I don't think it's going to matter. But what this is dielectric field. So if you're familiar with C.P. Steinmetz or Nikola Tesla, C.P. Steinmetz was actually Nikola Tesla's mentor. So if you thought Nikola Tesla was smart, you should check out C.P. Steinmetz. Absolute genius for his time. And turns out, centuries later, we are slowly finding and becoming privy to the fact that what he was studying has validity, complete validity to it. So that is the fact that there's dielectric fields all around us, at all places, all times. These translongitudinal forces basically are what energy and electricity is derived from. So when you take the magnetic field of the Earth, or a magnetic field using permanent magnets, crossing it with the dielectric field.
Hold on. He's confusing me a little bit. So I got to take it back a little bit. I'm a little confused because he promoted that guy. But wait a minute. So I always saw Black Widow, but I didn't know what it was. That's real White Widow. Okay, that's good to know. I did not know that. And then that was Hayes. I'm guessing Neville's Hayes is just intelligently worked original Hayes. And I don't mean it. I shouldn't say intelligently worked. I know he was a breeder, so it was more strategic is what I'm trying to say. I think it's a more strategic version of original Hayes. I believe original Hayes was created through, I guess, less strategic, less scientific method. I don't know how to word that without trying to sound like I'm putting anybody off. But it's, I guess, the apex version. Neville's Hayes is like the apex version of original Hayes, is how I personally interpret it. It's like the best version you're going to get out of that. Those are the main things that he worked with, was those original Hayes seeds. So he took it in a different direction, I guess would be the best way to say it. Okay, that's how I can say this. Neville's Hayes is like the ultimate direction of original Hayes. Original Hayes was in, at first, a specific direction. Then I think the strategy they tried to use or the direction they tried to go wasn't exactly optimal. There we go. I feel a lot better about saying that on the record, because I don't want to disrespect anybody in the process of any of this. But hold on. Neville Hayes seeds and some White Widow, which is like Soma, right? He was working with totally different genetics than anybody had in the game, apparently. And it's like scientifically or chemically proven. I don't know how they did that. I remember seeing that in one of the videos we watched on one of these days, because now everything's burned together, baby. But that's fascinating. And they're on sale? Okay. And I'm guessing regular seeds because you get 15 of them. I'm just taking them. Woo. I'm seeded out. Like, really, Jesus Christ. That would be my chance to get White Widow, though. You're right about that. I got to think about it. So hold on. Okay. I'm thinking right now. I'm trying to, I just realized I'm saying no to weed. Hold on. Let me snap out of it. Something must be wrong with me. Something must be wrong. Okay. So let me see. I got to get this right. Okay, so the Afghani was the bridge. I do kind of remember that. I started realizing that before I started breeding, that it seemed like to me, these original crosses, like the stabilizer was the Afghani genetic. Well, in between the crossing of all these, like sativas will go, wow, there's no telling what the hell they were. But that Afghani kind of brings it home, kind of makes it more of a stabilized plant, gets rid of that jungle in it. Like it's like twice as many leaf on sativas as it is indica. It's ridiculous. And I'm talking about leaf density, not even because it's a taller plant that it has more leaves, but just like there's like leaves on top of leaves on top of leaves on it. It's ridiculous. It's like a tree, literally, trying to grow a sativa. So okay, that's what it is. All right, thank you. So real White Widow, and so see right now, Shanty Cell. So where is Shanty now? What is it, still greenhouse seeds, or am I wrong about that? Or if I'm not, no, it's not even greenhouse seeds anymore. I forget. So much has happened. I can't even keep track anymore. I forgot where Shanti Bub is. Is it green? It's not greenhouse seeds, is it? It is. I don't know. I'm struggling. And I'm not familiar with the moneymaker either. Okay. So that's what I thought. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to take this video a little back. I got sidetracked because I got excited when I saw White Widow and Hayes. Hayes, see? And NL5. Like, oh, I got excited. But he's literally about to wire this bad boy up. So I'm wondering if he's about to use one of those like small little square batteries. It looks like a big 9-volt or whatever.
So that's what copper windings are in a motor. So you've got the stator and then the windings of the motor. That's going to be creating the dielectric field. So when the magnetic field and dielectric field is crossed, that is what creates electricity. So it is found that by creating these antennas, extending up into the atmosphere, you can harvest little bits of electricity. You can create a flowing system of energy within the soil of your garden. So that's what we are trying to do here. So there's all kinds of studies on it. Some are a little bit more wonky than others, but some
I got the wonky ones
from it. So that's what I'm going to show you today, is exactly how we set ours up, and we're going to be keeping track on if we notice any difference, if we feel any difference. If I can sit here and just feel the energy that is flowing through these antennas or not, and show you guys that process along the way. So the very first one, copper piping all the way down. What matters, it doesn't matter truly if it's copper or not, but you just need some sort of conductive material. The more conductive, the better going down in here. So this is our very first one in our garden. And then the second one that I've got set up is right over here. Then what I've done to make my earthing coil, so what I would call my negative, so energy that we are receiving from the earth, I just use the baseball bat so it's slightly tampered towards the inside.
And copper because it's easy to work with.
And point it in the opposite direction of the very first coil that we made. And since I am trying to have this one have least resistance to the ground, I actually got this copper bus bar here, which is going to work incredibly
He's the man with copper
for that side of my electroculture setup.
He's the man with copper. Okay, you got to put it in.
We've got this pounded about 12 inches into the soil. Now this vortex is going in the opposite direction.
Okay.
It's still opening up to the north. You want it to point due north when doing this, because that is going to be the field perturbations that you are collecting from the ether, right? So this one right here, you can see it's going counterclockwise all the way down into the soil, about 8 inches down for the actual copper wire. And then the copper piping is going about 12 inches down into the soil there. So counterclockwise. Then this one is going clockwise. And then I'm going to get 2 more antenna right up here.
Okay, that seems to be a bit intricate here.
Vortex. Back on this side, I know if you're new to electroculture, it doesn't make sense, but I have studied electrical theory and the studies of C.P. Steinmetz for years. The C.P. Steinmetz was Nikola Tesla's mentor. If you don't know him, absolutely.
Okay, I was going to say protege, the mentor.
C.P. Steinmetz theorized and essentially has now proven, years and years and years later, centuries later, we found out that his studies are true. That the ether, the dielectric ether and magnetic ether, is what kind of creates the entire atmosphere. So the dielectric ether is the universe. It's everything around us. It is a force that is always present.
The force.
So this is going
use
to
the force,
the
Luke.
dielectric ether and combine it with the magnetic fields of the earth. So the earth has a magnetic field to it. So that is combining and taking these two and ultimately harvesting a positive energy in order for the plants to grow. So you have a high life force, high energy output getting put into your garden through collecting these on the ether. Now, if you look at the fields, essentially it's a bunch of translongitudinal forces that come across in vortexes going in different directions. That's why these coils are all going to be in different directions.
Okay, he's trying to make a positive and negative.
One of them, we want to collect all of the different the vortexes. So like if you look at the chakras, the energy force that is coming through the dielectric magnetic atmosphere and magnetic earth, we need to collect both of those at the same time. So it is truly able to go where it needs to. It's absolutely incredible. So we've got these first two set up. Let's get our higher towers back over on this side. And then.
Okay, so perhaps I'm missing something. I thought that I was being slick with these magnets on the stakes. Now, I'm not sure if they 12 inches in the ground or whatever. I'm sure they're not. I'm sure they're probably like 5 inches in the ground. But, okay, I never really figured out that was the theory. So I'm guessing in a way I am trying to make electroculture. I'm trying to get he's saying the magnetic force from the ground being harnessed up in the rods, and the antenna is trying to pull the atmospheric energy and meet together to form this like electromagnetic field. And I guess mine is a little more primitive. He's got raw copper and whatnot. Yeah, mine is like coated, probably steel. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably something like that, stainless steel. But the magnets are the main thing. So this seems interesting in theory. I want to give him a chance to hear what he has to say. He's going to come with the facts, I'm sure.
Pretty sure this is going to be an incredible setup. I am really excited to see how it does this year, especially since we're going like at an all-out raw process with the whole garden this year. If you haven't checked out some of my other videos of me explaining what we're doing exactly, I think you'll find it really incredible. So let's get those other 2 towers up right now.
Okay.
All right, electroculture buddies. Again, this is my very first time doing this.
He ain't
I'm
lying.
excited to see what the results
That's a tower
look
for
like,
real.
because there is a lot of people online starting to do this.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like I said, I
Soaring
researched and
just
saw
about
this.
15 feet. We have our Luigi Egina spiral up there. So we've got the copper piping wound with electrical wire. So I have 3 strands, 2 insulated, 1 uninsulated copper wire going across in a clockwise fashion, continuing clockwise up, but then it twists to counterclockwise once it gets to the bottom here. That's this Luigi Engina circle or spiral. And then
Sorry
I have
for the
another
bad
one lower. So we've
grammar.
got one right at 15 feet, one at about 10 feet. And then right here, this other spiral.
Sorry
is
for the
at
bad
about,
grammar.
4.5 feet maybe. So this is a Luigi spiral. We have copper rods on both sides.
Hold on. I'm trying to do too much at once.
Copper tubing on both sides.
A Luigi rod. Okay, so I gotta remember that. Yeah, are they at Mr. Nice? I put it in the chat, my bad.
Going down to the ground about 2 feet. And the reason why I did the Luigi spirals on these is because this catches field perturbations from both directions, basically. So, and the other reason why I thought it made sense to stagger these is I don't want them on the same exact plane. So that way I'm able to maximize how much of the ether, dielectric ether, that I'm capturing and hopefully bringing down right into the soil here. So we have our very first counterclockwise spiral, our big, tall copper spiral right there, going clockwise, and then a Luigi spiral there, another Luigi spiral there. So between all of these, from what I'm reading and what I'm gathering, we should be able to cover, you know, about a 250-foot area of positively flowing, energy-high soil. I specifically love the way this one turned out. I think it's going to do a very, very good job at it. One of the important things, though, on all of these spirals is that it is opening to the north. So you want to make sure that this is, the polarity is north and south there, where this opening is going.
Okay, that's what he means by
the way
that.
the dielectric fields work. All right, so I am already feeling all the positive energy flowing into my body. Not really. But I'm excited just because it's cool. I mean, I think
just because it's
theoretically,
cool. Just because it's cool, baby.
It has been proven in the past that we can collect energy from the atmosphere. So whether or not deriving this energy and pulling it down into the soil is going to ultimately help the plant growth that I have here in the garden, that is the true question that has yet to be
Give
seen.
us some stats, baby. I knew you was coming with
Here,
stats.
so this is how it's done, though. I have done a lot of research on it, want to make sure I'm doing it right. This is how it's done. So some people, and in the past, during the large-scale studies, they would also take a ring around the entire garden as well in order to increase the amount of electricity and
that's what I'm trying to
that
do.
Dielectric force that is being harvested from the atmosphere. So we could also do that, but you know what? I'm just going to keep it at this because I think having this 15-foot tall tower right here, plus a 10-footer, and then this right here, and then our massive substation bus bar right there.
Okay.
If this doesn't work, then I'm just not really looking forward to
he didn't have no
doing a ton of
stats.
work in my garden after that point. So let's kind of tiptoe into this thing. I would say the setup is pretty incredible. The way
Oh, I thought he had stats. He invested thousands in it, well, hundreds into that. Yeah, no, that's not what I expected. I thought he was going to have numbers and stats was going to come on the board, 17% this and 12% that, and University of Harvard. Man, I didn't get any of that. But he was about it. That copper wire wasn't cheap. Yeah, none of that was cheap. So I'm guessing I'm gonna have to find another video to see some results, and then maybe I get some stats. Oh, sorry about that. That's what I get for not pre-screening the video. Trying to keep it raw, and it burnt me again. I'm my stats were getting better, but yeah, they were pretty bad on that one. So where we at? Let me see here, baby. Where we at? Okay, yeah. So it's on sale. So Mr. Nice, cool. Black Widow, which is the real White Widow, and Neville's Haze. Okay. Damn. I just went grocery shopping yesterday. So, oh shoot. I need to spare $100 because both of them sound really, really good. Like we were talking about Legendary. There we go, Legendary. Like Neville's Haze, White Widow. I know of it, and it's like White Rhino. Like it changed the game. I do know that. That's cool as hell. That's nice, man. Happy growing. Sheesh. Watching all that stuff about the sour diesel kind of inspired me. So I'm guessing you're going to be in that kind of world. Yeah, 50 plants and whatnot. So that's amazing. That's cool as hell. Yeah. Let me get us on the end on a good note part. I'm going to try and get the video ready, cue it up and all that good stuff, and we can laugh it up. Come out, watch a little bit of that. We saw that. Oh, no, I want to know how to do this real quick. Because I might be able to do this today. Oh, damn, I did have some good stuff to watch. Where's the funny? Okay, here we go. Maybe that's not going to be funny. Yeah, here we go. This is probably better. I think this will make us end on a good note. Where we at? Yeah. And of course, I got to resize the video. Thank you. But this was a good one. Yeah, I figured this will make us end on a good note. It's not necessarily funny, but yeah, it should be interesting to watch. Still a little too big. That's what she said. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, Bob. There we go. Oh, yeah. I was lying. I didn't even get the plants. I said I was about to get them. Oh, yeah. So, I showed it on the garden video, right? I believe. I want to hear the jams real quick. Like last week, I showed the I thought I had Island Sweet. I thought I had Island Sweet Skunk, and apparently, when I looked at the authentic genetics, it was Skunk 1. I was like, oh man. This whole time I was doing all that tributing to Sam Skunk, man, I thought I didn't have any. And I sure enough did. So the two in the cut was Skunk One. So what is it? Panama Red, Skunk One, Panama Red, Chocolate Kush, Durban Poison, Ghost Train Haze is pretty much what I have sprouted now for this season. So it's about to be on, baby. So what else? Hold on, no, I got something else. Yeah, the blue cookies. Yeah, because I'm looking, there's another cup I didn't finish. And the blue cookies, Quantum Cushion blue cookies. So I got some short plans, I got some tall plans, got some, I guess, jungle weed again. Glutton for punishment, didn't learn my lesson. Let's do it again. And actually, I got some original haze and Colombian seeds. What were making me talk about the seeds in the first place, you know, getting all the stuff, what pollinated what, when we were watching the Sour Diesel video. Got some two Colombian seeds I found, and no, two original haze seeds I found a Colombian the other day. So I'm probably gonna grow them too. Yeah, like I said, my wife is planning on growing. Said a lot of stuff yesterday, and I'm actually looking forward to that. I don't think she knows what's about to go down, especially where she's about to plant it. She's about to plant it in like the middle of the backyard, full sun. Oh, she's done. At least I got trees like kind of hiding like the shade for me, like giving me some kind of shade so it's not getting maximum sun. Now, it works to my benefit and it also works against me. I understand that, but at the same time, like, it's away from being seen from all directions. And, yeah, she about to do it basically right behind the house. Oh, good luck. She about to get 24 hours sunlight. Oh, man. And she want to grow like a, what the fuck she want to grow? I think she wants to go to Colombia. Or the original haze of Colombia. I don't remember. It was one of the seeds I had. She was like, I'll grow it. Okay, that shit about to be 20 feet. You about to be on a ladder with your short self. So this should be pretty decent. I'm definitely going to enjoy this grow season. You know, of course, I'm gonna do the garden vlog again. And try and make other videos besides that out of that. You know, like I said, I probably need to do the JMS. We were watching the 6-year recap yesterday for the 300th episode celebration. And I probably need to do some JMS. So a couple different things I'll do to keep it going. But I'm definitely looking forward to the transplant part of putting everything in the ground. Like, I'm going to be eagerly awaiting that. When the transplant happens and it acclimates to the ground and starts really growing, oh man, it's going to be a beautiful sight. Yeah, the sun is out now. The sun is shining. Yeah, like outdoor season is coming. Yeah, like I also, yeah, just watched the live stream yesterday. I explained pretty much everything that's going on this season. But I forgot to show the seeds yesterday, but I did show today that everything's sprouted and it's like all ready to go. We about to do it. So we're about to get on to the video, kind of end it on a good note. Let y'all enjoy the rest of your day. This is something I thought was pretty interesting. I used to watch these probably, like 10 years ago at this point, something like that. Maybe not 10 years ago. That was like 7, 8 years ago, something like that. We're going on to it. But I think these is pretty interesting. You'll enjoy. I hope it's no music. DBO, yeah. Yeah, it might be music. What? I love this stuff. What? Nice. What? Dang. What? Nice, man. What? Woo hoo 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 hoo. What? Oh, come on. Flawless. What? Oh my goodness. That was amazing. Oh man. Woo! Yeah, that got me hyped. Oh, that definitely got me hyped. Oh, half of it was crap. I wish I wish I could play it in slower speed actually, so we could actually awe in what we were watching. But well, what was that? I think that was high school, man. That was pretty low budget. That wasn't college, where the cheerleader, they basically threw her through the rim. What? Oh my goodness, and like a trained seal, she made it through without like hitting her hands or breaking her nose or what? She got faith in them people, man. That was people are awesome. I don't remember, it was a bunch of them. But I tried to dig back to an older one. The ones I first watched, they were like jumping off of mountains and crap like that. What's that? Free jumping, space jumping, like running, jumping off of buildings and parachuting real quick. It was a lot of natural things that were amazing. Riding bikes on rails, like on down steps, like long steps. So, man, people are awesome. Growing's awesome. The fact that you're able to get some White Widow and some Neville's Haze is awesome. Oh, really? That is a nice sign up. Thank you. Yeah. I can't really go super hard because we don't have the greatest of plant counts where I'm at. I don't have a West Coast plant count or a Oklahoma plant count. So I'm trying. I'm happy. Yeah, but honestly, I guess that's a blessing and a curse because I'm only one person, so it does get extremely tough for me. As much as my mind and appetite wants to grow all these different strands, it does get very difficult to trim them all down and dry them all out. And like really the space is the main thing. As much as, yeah, I can tell it's a big plant, but trying to hang it up in individual pieces and dry it out in like multiple plants, jeez, you run out of things that are hanging out. So you can, is it this way? Yeah, you run out of things that are pretty much going to be able to like let you get that space in between, and it gets hectic. Like I thought the shed would be good enough, but yeah, that only holds really like one plant. There's not as much to hang stuff off of. Now once it starts to get to a certain point, you can start to mix plants. Once you basically I transfer from the drying shed to like into trimming, and then once I start making space, I can start transitioning plants, basically cutting them down from the harvest and hanging them in there for the dry, and then move on to the next plant because I try to space them at different harvesting times, just so I'm not overwhelmed with a bunch of trimming, because it is like a month or month and a half process to get it all done. It's ridiculous. And oh shoot, I'm sorry. Hold on, man. I ain't know that's what was going on. I'm ashamed of myself. I didn't even realize the jams wasn't jamming. Let me go ahead and beatbox and rap right quick. I got y'all covered. I don't need no background. I got y'all. Got you. No problem. Yeah, got you, no problem. Me. Here we go. Yeah. Oh no, I'm just kidding. No. There we go. A little more background, so that makes it a little more better. Little parts too. But having to, I guess that's like stagger harvesting or whatever. I don't. It takes quite a while, and it took me a while to master being able to, like, not cut down more than I could harvest and dry in a reasonable amount of time. I got stuck at one point, like 2 years ago. I got stuck at one point, like 2 years ago, last year. I'm not even sure when the heck this was. No, so it wasn't last year. That was the original haze in Colombia. So like 2 years ago, I was at the main part of the super silver haze and kind of towards the end, like the Acapulco Gold, when I was like harvesting, trying it. And I just tried to dry out way too much Acapulco Gold before I had trimmed down and harvested the super silver haze. I was at the big bud portion of it, like the main stalk portion, where it really needed some concentration. And I think it was like a busy week. I wasn't able to put as much time in trimming it down as I needed to. So the super silver haze ended up being fine. But like towards the end of my Acapulco Gold harvest, like that batch, I started to notice that, yeah, it was a little drier than everything else was. I had to kind of bring it back to life in the harvest jar. It was only at 60% humidity by the time it got in there. And I kind of like it to be at 63, 62% humidity in the jar when it's curing. That's just my preference. I don't want it to be too damp as a 65%, but I do want it to kind of speed up. So that's the 63 part, but I prefer smoking it at 62%. According to like the dispensary stuff that I've had, like every time it's been a 62% Bovita pack, like, okay, that seems to be where I want. I wouldn't want to go much lower than that. And yeah, when I get towards the end of the jars, actually, from the stuff that I'm curing, once the stuff doesn't, I'm tired of vacuum packing it, or hey, this is the amount that I'm going to smoke until I get to the vacuum pack. Once I get to the end of those jars, like the 8 or so that I might leave out, like 2 jars out of each strain or a jar out of each strain, once I go through the whole Monty of them all, the last one will maybe be at like even 59% humidity. So, you know, a week, 3 days before I get to it, it's even dropped past the curing threshold. And basically, yeah, I'll try and wet it up, like wet the lid up and put it back in there just to raise its humidity up. You know, even though it's false, it's only temporary, but it does add a fluff back to the flower. And where are we at? Let me check the chat. Oh, man. Eucalyptus oil, spearmint, and a hint of menthol. Okay, no, nothing close to that. The Acapulco Gold that I have is just pretty much citrus to me. Like it is, well, you know what? It is something going on with it, but it's not really pronounced. It's definitely more citrus to me. It would be the like white, when you peel the orange and it's like the stringy stuff attached to the actual orange slices that you want. It tastes like that orange. It's like that kind of taste to it. So it's citrus, yeah, not necessarily the peel, not necessarily the orange. It's something complex in that, but I don't think it's necessarily eucalyptus oil or mint. I can't claim to have done that. Like, maybe I do have that and I didn't cure it right, but I think all I got was citrus. And a bulk of my purchasing was through Pacific Seeds. And I realized after some time, so this, sheesh. I can't even tell you when I bought them seeds. Like maybe like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. I bought a bunch of them like 6 years ago. Then I re-upped, had some left over, and I bought a bunch more somewhere around COVID time. And sheesh. Yeah, I can't even tell you how much. But the point is, like, yeah, I found out a lot of them weren't true, because that's where during those purchases is where I was saying a lot of the autoflowers I was getting weren't even autoflowers. So that even makes me question what the strain was. Okay, this might not be, Amnesia Haze autoflower, but is it even Amnesia Haze at this point, now that it's not an autoflower? Like, it needs the lights to be flipped to make it work. What else was another one that I had that was the same way? Neville's Haze, maybe a Neville's Haze I did have was an autoflower, I'm not sure. Maybe it needed the lights flipped on it too, but then is it even Neville's Haze? That's kind of my question. So I've had a regular Neville Haze and an autoflower Neville Haze, and to me, the photo period Neville, like the full, you need to flip the lights to get it to work. That it was very like it was the complex hazy part. I can't really think of what direction it was going in, like earthy. It was that hazy smell, and I can't tell you much more about it. The Acapulco Gold, yeah, is just like citrus. That's all I can really pick up on it. I really like the effect of it. It was very stimulant, but and I think the same thing with the Durban Poison I have. I don't think I have like the licorice phenotype. I heard there is one of those. I'm pretty sure. Like, what is? It's just herbal, I think, is the phenotype that was going around, and I'm sure I just have a copy of that. Dang, that really? I didn't even know that was true. But like, okay, this makes sense why what Acapulco Gold is like having coffee at a 5-star restaurant or something. I forget the term. It's like 5-star connoisseur weed, and that would make sense if that's the phenotype. Like, okay, I wouldn't even have thought to put those together. I know you can get herbal, and I never even thought of eucalyptus as a fragrance. Like, but you're right. I might be confusing eucalyptus with bergamot, maybe, because I claim bergamot. But maybe there is a eucalyptus. I'm not even talking about Acapulco Gold though, so I'm sorry. But like, you just opened up my eyes to something I never even considered, a eucalyptus smell. Versus whenever I say herbal or floral, it's not necessarily like a lavender, but it definitely is like a bergamot, like burn your nose, effervescent kind of fragrance. Lilac, I don't really have. I haven't much exposure to those fragrances in order to definitively say that's what it is, and how faint is it? If it is, how faint is it, and how does it blend with the other, myriad of smells going on with it? but I don't. I think I would know eucalyptus, like burn my nose, and it's not that. Sorry. Well, I feel bad. It's not sorry to you. You got it. I feel bad. Really? That's interesting. I'm not even a fan of licorice or anything like that, but just for it to be in something, that is so fascinating. Like to get these true pronounced, you know, vanillas or licorice, eucalyptus oil, man, sour, like the sour diesel thing, that was, yeah, it kind of was sour. The Kush was really something different. It was very pungent and potent. It even looked different. So there's something to be said for that. That's amazing. I really would have liked to have tried a lot of those. Just for the sake of trying. That's what a lot of my dispensary shopping was about during when I went through that phase, maybe about 4, going on probably 5 years at this point. Just trying to try as much as I possibly could just to see what was different. And the only thing that I really remember out of that, now that I'm thinking about it, because I know I said something, I commented on my dispensary days like maybe a year ago or so. But the one thing I definitely remember is pink lemonade, and then what was the one with osamine in it? It was one I liked. There was like a 50-50 blend. It wasn't blue cheese, but I remember that. That seemed a little different, but like a lot of the dispensary weed was just dispensary weed. There was nothing really pronounced about it, but pink lemonade definitely stood out. It was definitely pink lemonade. It was very, very, very tart and like a sweet lemon. But besides that, yeah, nothing really stands out. Kind of some Head and Shoulders shampoo. Head and Shoulders. Don't even remember what that's. Okay, I have to re-smell Head and Shoulders to be familiar with it again. I've definitely smelled Head and Shoulders shampoo. I just don't remember. I can't recall the fragrance right now. Is what I'm trying to say. Like I know it's medicated. When I was in junior high, a lot of people had like the little bottle of Head and Shoulders, the ones that played sports, and I guess that was popular back in our day. I don't know, but I remember the smell of that. I think what was the version? I guess what they promoted to like the black guys. What? Sulfur 8. That was it. That was like kind of our version of it. It was just very medicated smell. It was sulfur. For like dry scalp or itchy scalp or whatever. It just, yeah, it really was like I guess after you get out in the sun, that smell dissipates quite heavily and you really gotta get up on somebody to smell it. But like straight out the jar, that woo, yeah, putting that on your scalp, you know, you walk in the room, you know somebody using sulfur 8. So I remember that Head and Shoulders was definitely distinct. It was definitely like a herbal thing like that. I don't know if it funked up the room, but I remember it in the locker room. A lot of people had Head and Shoulders. I gotta smell it. I gotta go to the store, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna go to the aisle and get some Head and Shoulders, and I'm gonna smell it. Not like the traditional one, not anything new. Like I'm sure they're gonna have some label or some color on. I'm gonna try and just get the old school one and remember what it smells like. Because what your smell is your oldest, like your longest memory sense. You can remember stuff for like, what, 30, 40 years with your sense of smell. If you smelled it again, you like, oh my God, this is. So that's all I need to do for Head and Shoulders. That was like middle school for me. So that would be like 88, 89. Yeah, something like that. That'd be middle school for me. Yeah, like actually, yeah, Fight the Power. 1989, the another summer jam. Turn of the fucking drummer. Yeah, that was definitely middle school, like the 8th grade. So yeah, it's been that damn. I guess that's what going on 40 years. Sheesh, like 30 some years. So yeah, you just gotta re-smell it. Oh shoot, okay. Let me find something funny for y'all. This has been good. Peanut butter breath. Like, yeah, I've heard something like bacon grease, peanut butter breath. Like, I don't really get exposed to those. I guess I don't seek them out either. I'm just chasing the stuff that I wanted from the 90s. And like, I'm just kind of getting a chance to grow them now. I'm late to the game with Durban Poison. I'm late to the game with like the Colombian and like everything I'm on is old purple haze. Like I'm chasing like the past pretty much. And I guess once I grow all these like 20 seeds that I bought, like the 20 different variety of seeds that I bought, the Mexican haze and all this crap, the Pilla Roja and all. Once I'm done with that phase, I guess I'll move up to what we were smoking 10 years ago. Y'all got any Blue Dream? Y'all got any? Y'all got any wedding cake? Like, oh man, we smoking something. You know, where's the Zittles at? I guess I'm gonna be doing that. I have no idea where I'm gonna be as far as trying to get new inventory. I really had planned on trying to just breed what I had, the few things that I've cracked so far. Work with them, get them perfected, the Octane Haze, the Diesel Berry, and the Heavenly Haze. Once I get those kind of down pat, feminize what created those, have those seeds available so you can make your own whatever you want to make from the concoction. Have the seeds I make available. That'll get us like, 6 to 8 strains off the bat to start a seed company was the point of this. And just keep developing from there. Like, if I want to work with the Durban Poison, which I did want to work with, different things I come up with, feminize that, like put that on the list. Now we got 10 different strains that we're selling, so on and so forth, kind of expand from that. But give it time to work organically and really come up with something unique, like something that looks unique, like we were talking about the Romulan. Like Kush, I thought looked very unique. That's another one. Smells unique color-wise, just something different. And just keep expanding. And I figured, every so often, hey, having these 8, 10, 5 years down the line, 12, 14, I don't know, different strains to get. The same way I'm chasing Original Haze and Steve Murphy's Afghani and Skunk One, somebody will be chasing me, hopefully, or chasing what we're smoking on now, or, the skunk. These things will never go away, never die, really. That's kind of my big hope. And not necessarily even for profit. I don't know how much money is really in selling seeds. I'm sure I couldn't quit my day job and sell seeds. I'm not the man like that. I'm sure there's probably a way to, but I don't know it. But it's really more so to keep my dream alive, I guess, the same way with Subcool. Like, hey, this person bred to make this, and he thought it was decent, and this was the reason why I thought it was decent. Just to kind of fall in the ranks like that. This is what I was doing with my time. And hopefully when you hear the story of, hey, I was just a haze fanatic and I wanted to make like the ultimate haze basically, and I wanted to work with haze strains. And then I started to realize how medicinal things became and wanted to work with Afghani strains and kind of just breed things that were unique, colorful, had bag appeal, and actually worked for specific things, I suppose. If they cure 3 things, that's cool. It doesn't have to be specifically one thing, but as long as it helps somebody and good weed gives you a stimulating effect if that's where I wanted to go, or it gives you a sedative effect if that's where I wanted to go, it does its job. Hopefully you enjoy the flavors and the way I work with it. What was it? 8 to 9 week strain. 10 to 11 week strain and 12 weeks plus, hopefully stopping at 16. And then for height, like 3 feet, then 5 to 6 feet, and then 6 to 10 feet for the plants, and kind of go from there. And hopefully you like where that went. Oh, I would love that. So okay, you can, let me do this. So I'll make it so you can email me. You can email me and then we can go from there. Oh Lord. Sorry about that. I forgot about that. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Is that what happened? Yeah, I don't know why that came about. Okay, yeah, there we go. My fault. So, is that correct? Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can, thank you. I would appreciate it. And yeah, if you, I got, what do I have? What did I say I had? Okay. Original Haze and Colombian from Authentic Genetics. Well, they like pollinated themselves. That's what I still kind of tend to believe that. Those are only 2 plants out in the garden. So either they pollinated themselves or the one pollinated. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. But I have those seeds available. I can gift as well, and it's not a problem. If Mr. Crunchy is out there, I went to the post office and mailed them. They should be there Thursday. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. That would be cool. Dang. I thought the seed game was over, and I'm back, baby. They keep calling me. That's cool. Thank you. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I thought I was like happy to grow this year. Like, you know, I'm pretty confident. But once you said that, I realized like, wow, no, I wasn't. There's another level to this. Like, I'm really enthusiastic now. There's another level to this happiness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be fine too. Is it the same crap? Shifty. It did. Yeah. They definitely did. I found out that's where everybody was kind of getting it from, with the Tide, the Diesel, and something else. The Haze. But a lot of things were also, that's what it was. I couldn't think of the name when we were bringing up Beasters. It was Kind Bud. That's what it was. And I was like, there's no strain called Kind Bud. What are you talking? What is it? It's Kind Bud. That's what everybody kept calling everything. So maybe that was Beasters. That was code word for beast. I don't know what the hell, but I do know when I went to jail, I know somebody who killed somebody for a pound of it. Well, he was an accomplice to somebody who killed somebody for a pound of it. And that person he killed was his friend. Like an accessory, whatever, like they were all in the house. So they charged him with it too. This was, dang, yeah, what was that? Like 2000? Yeah, that's probably like 2000. We still ass out. Yeah, there's cuts out there. There's definitely cuts out there. You know, there's cuts of skunk out there. There's cuts of OG out there. There's cuts like red Lebanese. Pretty much any strain you could think of. There is a cut of it out there, like the licorice Durban poison. I know there's a cut of that out there. We just don't get that one. It's like cinnamon maybe 2. I kind of forget what they describe the like true Durban poison taste to be, but there is definitely a pronounced licorice and certain stuff people had in the in the early 2000s in California. Okay. Because I wonder about that, like genetic drift. Now, I know that there is a possibility for that to happen. I guess there's a potential for anything to happen. But how likely is that to happen to somebody who's, I guess, doing it over time? Well, in a caring way, almost in a scientific, on a scientific level, like doing it like a science. Putting that kind of care into it, that passion into it. How likely is it for stuff to really have drift? I guess over time, eventually, but I don't really see how. Oh, so Con Bud was Con Bud? Okay, so it actually was Con Bud. Okay, so he wasn't BSing, it was just Con Bud. Okay, because I was like, what does that mean? What the heck is Con Bud? It's Con Bud. And so I think from seeing the High Times magazines that I saw, I guess it was something like I saw out of High Times, like something that was in the what you call it, the pinup, the 2-page spread. It was probably something like that or something on Grow America. So okay, it looks like hydroponic and it's all these little trichome heads that are really fat on it. It's really dense and it's a big size nug. And okay, I get you. I've seen that type of stuff before, but like I can understand. It was probably like $3,000, $4,000 for the pound. So I kind of understand if you get around the right people, yeah, that might happen, especially if they really got access to it. That's like having, I guess, $4,000 in cash out. Yeah, something bad might happen to you with people around you. So I can kind of get it. So Con Bud was Con Bud. Okay, thank you. So it wasn't Beasters or nothing like that. Yeah. And that's just because of the slang and everything. Like, what the heck do DC people say now? Back in my day, it was, yeah, Bud. Yeah, it was pretty much a Bud. That was pretty much the main thing we would say around there. I'm sure there's a couple other ones. So weed. Yeah, that's where I still get that from. Weed, Bud. Some tree, that was another one. I kind of remember that. That was later on though. But because of that, I probably would lose in translation what I'm even really getting. People don't know, it doesn't really matter, people don't care. Like, you know, like I know a lot of people, especially when all this weed was getting flooded into us, a lot of the people I would be smoking with was like, yeah, they said it was whatever, I ain't even listen to them. So what if you were buying pounds and it was the same thing? Yeah, I ain't even listen to them. So you don't even know that you're sitting on like the blueberry or the skunk or, you know, hey, he said this, yeah, I don't even care. Could be a situation like that, so very interesting. Creeper weed, okay, creeper weed. It was something called 4-way. I heard of. People from Texas talk about that. Texas, like Arizona, talk about that. All right. Okay. So the Reggie's wasn't Mexican brick weed. Like I understand what you're saying. Like I definitely know there was times when I would get compressed weed and you can clearly tell that like, hey, this was the corner block of something because it's smooth around the edge or whatever. So I understand what you mean by the Mexican brick weed. But the Reggie part, because to me, there's like a distinct old school, like I guess 90s taste. Cause I remember getting it one time in the 2000s, like, oh, this tastes like weed from high school. Like, holy shit, like all the weed tasted like that. And it stopped tasting like that. Like, oh, this tastes like it. And it wasn't the Zona either. But I just figured that the Reggie's was like the more inner part of the brick, I guess, so it could actually have some kind of bud shape to it. It would still be like weird like 3 claw blocks, a weird shaped bud, but it was kind of still intact or whatever. But there's a this is fascinating. There's a difference, because I want to go, but I want to know too. So this is good to know. I really didn't even think about that. I want to research this a little bit more now. Maybe there's more information I can kind of find out now that we're in 2025. I didn't even think about this. These are mysteries that I wanted to solve that I forgot. They went cold, and now we got a lead. That's what happened. These were cold cases, and now we're going to reopen these files. Okay. Yeah, there's no time. Well, no, I'm not. I don't mean well like I'm going to sit here and contradict what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Was some Beasters was some Reggie. Okay, well, I don't see it as being as any different than. Okay, hold on. What am I trying to say? Okay, if Beasters was Reggie, was it like, you mean like no difference in Reggie? Or, yeah, I mean, I do understand that it was Reggie as far as quality because people laugh at it. But I mean, was that the Reggie? Because if it was, no, I smoked a shit ton of Beasters then. I didn't know that. That's what I was thinking was Mexican brick weed. But I can actually really tell a difference in Mexican. There's some distinct Mexican brick weed, and then there was the stuff I assumed was Mexican brick weed once I found out about Mexican brick weed years later, and assumed, okay, I guess all the stuff we smoking is Mexican brick weed. There was only a few times we had some like good stuff, but I wouldn't know the name to it. It was just good weed, like in no name, no kind bud attached to it. Just, yeah, you got some fire or whatever. And we didn't say fire then. He got some bomb probably, or whatever Snoop was saying at the time. It's like 91, 92. He got some chronic, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, Shifty. I was and Steven, I was gonna say I was watching a Future Cannabis project, not a Breeders Syndicate. And it was Not So Dog and what's the dude, Matt Riot, and they were going through the history of haze, and he was basically, they were saying that in New York it was like the Black Cuban, the Uptown, like there's a couple different names for basically the same strain, basically the same plant that people just been growing for a while, and people, attribute to the borough or attribute to the color. Like, I get what you mean by that. So I wonder if that's what I'm getting caught up in. And this is fascinating that y'all are saying these things. There were levels to Reggie. Okay, yes. You're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. Because the Afghani and the skunk, basically, literally, like, I passed out after smoking it. I was not okay. I had to lay down. I was incapacitated for some time. Like the first time I smoked the skunk, I laid out on the basketball court. I'm assuming for like an hour and a half. I woke up in sweat because I passed out like in the middle. Like there's 2 basketball courts. I passed out in the middle in between the 2 courts, and I guess the sun had just like passed across me. And once it, I guess, crossed my eyesight, that's when I woke up. I don't know, but my friends were ready to go by the time I woke up. It was almost synchronicity. And that time I smoked the Afghani, I knew it was Afghani from the person who sold it to me, and I had to like hide in the high school bathroom like a year or so later, maybe a year and a half later, I guess. Yeah, no, it was like the next year, yeah. So, okay, yeah, there were levels to it. Beasters was originally. Yes, that was the dude's name. It was Breeder, whatever, and he was talking about that because that's where he's from. What the hell did he grow? I can't think of the strain still. And it was a derivative of something he got. He got a cut of something. and he is pretty famous. I can't think of the name of it. It's from Canada. Now he grows in, like I said, Colombia or Brazil. He was talking about Beasters, so maybe I did have Beasters since you're saying there's levels to Reggie and Beasters was Reggie. Uptown Hayes, okay, thank you. Uptown, they go get it. Yeah. So maybe I said that poorly, but that's exactly what I meant, depending on where you got it from. And I believe we would do the same thing. Like there's a spot like Trinidad Avenue in DC, you know, like somebody would just come around, yeah, it's that Trinidad. Okay, so if I was to buy it, I would literally think you meant from like Trinidad the island. I wouldn't think that you meant from Trinidad, like, 30 minutes away from where we at, the middle of DC. Okay, yes. I heard that they had mentioned that for other drugs in that the Breeder Syndicate interview I was talking about the different names for the hazes. They had mentioned it sold it for other drugs, so I can believe that. A lot of people did that. That's nothing. and I get it. I mean, at a certain point, you're getting so much money that, hey, well, what else can you bring me? Yeah, I get it. Shoot, okay, let me get one more video going, because yeah, my eyeballs is floating, but I do want to keep this going. Yeah, I definitely want to keep this going, so hold on. I'm gonna get another video queued up. My bad. I probably should have done that while we was talking and everything. And yeah, definitely my eyeballs is floating. This is taking on my mutant power, sorry. I'm trying my best to talk, but okay. Concentrate, what am I doing? Should we laugh? Yeah, we should. I want to see that. I might as well watch this with y'all. This should buy some time. How to do some smoke tricks. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's exactly what I want to see. So let me, cue this video, and I'll be right back. Hold on one moment. Cue the video, Sam. Oh, hey. I don't hear nothing, yo. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll be right back. My bad.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? Dope as Yola here. Hope you had a dope ass day. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be something you guys ask for frequently, guys. And it's something that I have a little bit of knowledge, so I'm going to show you as much as I can. So today's video is going to be how to do smoke tricks. We've all been there at the park bench with the garage our homies, at our dorms, in the car, just trying to hit circles, trying to do fucking the French inhales, the Bane, the jellyfish shit. Today I'm going to try my fucking hardest to do smoke rings. So let's light this up and get started. Oh, I am not good. Let me try that again. Hey, I did some ovals. Those weren't rings or circles, but those were ovals, and that was good enough. Guys, that's all the smoke tricks that I know how to do. But don't think I was going to do this video and not be fucking prepared. So today, guys, I have a special guest and probably the best teacher for this video I could have possibly got. His name is Fresh Skater J. He's won multiple smoke trick competitions. He won the Vape Capital tournament. I'm sure you've seen him online doing all the crazy fucking insane smoke tricks that you see online. This is the guy. So this is Fresh Skater J, guys. I'm going to introduce him and have him help us out. Everybody say what's up to Fresh Skater J. Coolest fucking intro ever. Jay is smoke trick champion. Please tell everybody what you do in the vaping world.
I'm a professional vapor. I get bookings worldwide. I've been featured on Netflix series. I've been going from country to country, just meeting everyone and all these new vapors and new people. So
it's fucking crazy, bro. Who would have thought 10 years ago, oh, I smoke weed for a living, or I fucking do vape tricks and they pay me. Like, what the fuck? It's cool. Yeah. It's definitely the fucking coolest thing you could ever ask for.
You telling me, man.
Yeah. Something out of nothing, basically.
Don't think we're just going to sit here and Jay doesn't get high. No, we're going to get high as fuck. The vape was just to say what's up. That's what he does. But we're getting fucking high today. Guys, I suck. I do smoke circles. I can French inhale a little.
I learned
today. Yeah, exactly. Really? And I want you guys to learn Who else?
No.
Who better on the planet to ask for smoke trick advice
Where's my lighter go?
than the guy himself? So, can you please start with the most basic, how to blow an O? So we're gonna try along. You got your joint. Here's your lighter. Okay. So please explain. What are we doing with the O? I know what I do. For most of you guys out there, I go like this. I know it looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you kind of push your tongue motion, right?
So there's two ways to do it. Oh, you
Hold
can
on,
push
hold
out with your
on.
tongue. That's like how.
All right, get my lighter. Where did it go? How did I lose it? Where did I move? What have I been doing? Oh no. Okay.
First started.
So what are you doing?
Carry
What
on.
are you doing with your tongue? Explain so everybody at home.
So basically, like with my mouth, I kind of want to make like a O-shaped form, and then from there, you just kind of want to like cough out a couple times and figure out like
this,
your O face, yeah.
Right? Like a light cough. Damn! This is great.
Yeah, you just want to let out like light coughs.
All right, hold on. Okay, light coughs.
Light coughs.
What am I doing with my tongue? Circles.
Your tongue could just sit there. To be honest, let me see.
I'm struggling
You
hard.
can push a little bit forward with your tongue, but mostly the coughing is where it's at. You gotta push it forward. You gotta get that smoke out of your lungs. There you go.
Oh, I get it. Get the fuck out of here. That was perfect. That was Can you target shit? Hold on. Here. Hit this then. Yo, this is great.
Struggling. What? I'm struggling.
Done. Yeah, go
My
for it.
friend
Do that
could
shit
do it.
again.
He was like, if you don't inhale, that's how you can really get them.
You just directed it. Do you feel like you have powers when you do that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So majestic.
Like you got power. What?
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding
That
me?
one was.
That was first one was okay.
That was good. Yeah. There you go.
Hey, they weren't bad, but yours got like back rotation and shit.
Yeah, they can move. Joy's got power. He's right. Like a superpower.
Can you hit the O, then shoot an O through it? Mm-hmm. I was asking a bunch of shit.
Uh-huh.
Get the fuck out of here.
What?
I wouldn't even be smoking my weed. I'd just be fucking doing this all day. All right, just real quick, just for a bet at home. Do you think you can hit the camera lens from here?
Oh man, yes. Like throwing a card at the camera, basically. This is nice, man. What? Like Madden? The quarterback through the rings? Training camp?
I see it.
What?
Oh my God, forming the circle of air path.
I want you to
You're
try
an
to push
airbender.
one. Yeah, I want you to try to push one for sure. Look, so like right behind it, basically like you're putting your.
I
hand
can't
like
even get
really-
it. I gotta watch this again.
Oh, when you let it out.
Mm-hmm.
What? Dude is nice with it. What? Really? Nice. Okay. Yes. Link. Oh, hold on. I gotta put some music to it. I'm being rude. There we go. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, nice. So y'all can all link up. That's cool. That's the best part of this. I'm gonna play that video again. I'm coming back to that. I'm gonna learn how to blow a smoke ring. I thought it was over. This has been a very inspiring day. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you very much. Steven, thank you. Shifty Eyes, thank you. Will. Wow, Bill, excuse me. I said Will. I guess that's a combo. See how I shutting it up there? And yeah, just thank everybody. This has been inspiring. I thought I was feeling pretty good, but I guess the hangover is like bringing me down a little bit. It was low energy, but once I heard everything today, I'm like, it's a brand new day. I'm seeing stuff with rose-colored glasses. and nice. I didn't know I had as many New Yorkers watching as I did. This is beautiful. This is, hey, I'm very happy for that. I don't want to throw myself in it, but I'm glad this was the point of things like this happening. Making a show where everybody can collab and meet up. Are y'all gonna try the smoke ring thing? I missed the beginning part. That's what I get from my eyeballs floating. But literally, I was struggling. I couldn't barely concentrate to pick out even a video I couldn't read. I lost everything. Oh man, I had a great ass time. Thank y'all. This was a great sauced up Sunday. Yeah, okay, yeah. I forgot. Did I say anything on Instagram? I don't know if what the hell my links are on Instagram. I don't think I had an app on my phone. I know I took it off of space because I was recording videos for like video space. I can't even tell you what I would have used as my Instagram. But if you email me or comment on a video here, you can leave me a link to your Instagram or whatever. Yeah, comment on any video, I guess. Like once you comment, I'll get the alert and I can, go in and we can go from there. That'd be cool. And yeah, figure out what's going on. This has been, I love when everybody gets along and everybody has some kind of common thread in the chat. This is a good feeling. I hope these videos are somewhat entertaining, somewhat. And I hope I'm entertaining enough. This has been fun. I definitely enjoyed doing this. I've been talking so much, I'm only on beer number 2. This is pitiful. I should be ashamed of myself. Word up. Yes. Word is bond. Word is bond. My word is my bond, but I think word is born, and I think even Brand Nubian's name is, I know it's word is bond. Word is bond. But your word is your bond. It's supposed to be, and I guess it morphed into something else. Wow. Yeah, I would agree, and I understand that California does that now, but I think they were kind of the same. Why am I just attributing to that? But everybody feels that way. Everybody has their preference. So some things work, other things don't. But yeah, I think New York, y'all have a very good palette on what things are. I would definitely have to agree. So much of a hub and so many different myriads of travel through New York that I think gives you such an, I don't want to say advantage like it's a bad thing, but lets you have your ear to the ground. You're up on everything. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say anything negative about anything like it's wrong. Everything is correct. You have access to, I agree with you. You have access to things that are good, and you pick what is good and what is bad. Forget the test results. I think California was like that, but I can kind of also see where I'm wrong in that, is that it was like Acapulco Gold, like everything kind of had a name that people talked about, and I know that stuff was expensive, so maybe it's a little more bougie than I'm giving it credit for since I wasn't there. I know not being there is a big thing. So just want to make sure I preface it that. But I would have to agree with you, and everybody likes what they like depending on the region that you're at. Some people lean more uppity depending on where you're from and what you're using it for. Other people like it more sedative depending on what you're using for, depending on the region. Makes me think of, to bring it back to beer, that was a big influence in my life, and yeah, still part of it now. that there was a craft brewery that opened up in, I want to say it is in Pennsylvania. My next guess is Indiana. This is like 20 years ago that I read this. But they made their craft beer. They did all the things that they wanted to do. They made a stout, they made a pill. They didn't realize until like a year or two in through research that where they were at was one of the biggest Coors Light consumers in the country. That was like a main hub for Coors Light consumption, and to the point that corporate knew it in Coors. So they basically, once they found that information out, had to tailor their beers. They cut back on flavor a lot more. It did help them on cost. They were able to adjust and survive, but people's taste is what their taste is, and even though certain things might come in, we like what we like, and that's going to work out. I agree that New York is a good palate for it, and the haze kind of makes sense with the city that never sleeps. That's cool and scary at the same time, but nice. By the way, and whatever. I can believe it. I mean, I think that you will. New York is, well, I can't really necessarily say that. I was going to say something that I don't know is necessarily true. It's more of an observation, a personal observation. But I do know that 90% of Marylanders grew up in Maryland, and 90% of Marylanders grew up in Maryland. I want to say never leave. So I was going to say, I think New York is like that, but I was going to say, well, I could be wrong, because I do know New Yorkers are everywhere. So I guess maybe I can't necessarily branch out and say that. But I can believe, with just being in New York for quite some time, and just being the city for the most part, I guess is where people travel through, you're going to connect with a myriad of people and link up in all different kind of directions. So like if you want some DVDs, you want a fur coat, you want to watch, you want some dope, you want a PlayStation, I'm sure that everybody kind of cross-references everybody. Okay, yeah. I'm a sucker for haze. I'm a sucker for sativas. I really enjoy that effect too, being up and awake. I like being, I guess it's to be alert, to pay attention and enjoy everything is what I kind of like. And when I'm more sedated or smoking something heavy or too drunk, why I kind of drink beer more than liquor or whatever, is once I get a little too set in, I'm not able to enjoy it as much. My senses get kind of shut down, and I'm not able to appreciate as much. So sativas, any kind of sativa leaning hybrid, definitely hazes, I'm a sucker for, and it seems like a lot of people in here are too. And that's not a bad thing at all. Lemon haze, okay. Excellent. Not lemon haze. Well, okay, so super silver haze is what I had. But that was a blueberry, I don't know how, but blueberry, extremely blueberry phenotype. I know there are supposedly 3 strawberry haze phenotypes, but the one I had was the more blueberry leaning one. So some lemon haze, okay. I think I've only had that in a pre-roll, to be quite honest. No, I'm sorry. That was lemon skunk that I've had in a pre-roll. I had lemon skunk a few times. I haven't had lemon haze. But sounds good. Especially in a vape pen. Sheesh. Oh man. Yeah, let me get out of here. Everybody's sick. Oh no, okay, no. No. Mine, yours doesn't smell like cheese. Mine doesn't smell like. Yes, you've got skunks. Okay. Yeah, I don't. Nothing that smells skunky. Great Pearls. That was the name of the strain from the dispensary. Pink lemonade and Great Pearls. The Osamine thingy one. Those were the two that stood out to me the most. Great Pearls and Pink lemonade. The only things that have stood out in recent years, and that was like 4 years ago or 5 years ago from the dispensary. Sorry, that was like 30 minutes ago, but it was bugging me. I try and remember everything because I've been smoking so long. I know the stereotype is to forget everything. So it bothers me to not remember something. I try to remember everything because I want to believe it doesn't impair you as bad as people think. It's just more so you don't care. That's why you're not paying attention. Not that you're not hearing it. And so I hear everything. So if I can just recall what I heard, I can get back in the mix. Okay, thank you. Super lemon haze. See, I don't get this type of stuff. You know, I think I know what I want to do. I see a lot of contests. I have a Discord too. I forgot about that. That's what I gotta make sure I set that up for next week. I didn't get to use it yesterday and I didn't get to use it today, but I'm going to set up the Discord so we can call in so you don't necessarily have to keep typing. You can literally just like get on the once you get on the Discord, just get on the call and your voice will be in there and we can just talk and do this versus having to type and do this. And you know, it could be civil. I'm not going to go as crazy, and everybody should be able to get in where they fit in and have a turn. And ghetto skunks ain't no joke. But yeah, we should be able to get on the Discord and talk about everything. What I was, the reason I brought that up is I want to, the contest I want to do, I see a lot of people use the Discord to have growing competitions and it's really just growing competitions. What can you do? Sometimes they give you the seeds to work with so you can literally do a set by set. Other times they don't. It doesn't matter. But I think what I want to do as a competition is to breed for all of y'all to breed something that you actually want to breed and get it to be where you want it to be. I think I'm gonna do that. Like, what cross would you want to cross and go ahead and cross it? That would be the competition. Like, just to challenge yourself, just to put you on, like, I guess basically put you on a hamster wheel of wanting to perfect it. And I don't mean that like I wish harm on you, but I hope that you get what you want. That's really what it's for. I hope that I can help to set you on a path to get you what you ultimately want. And that would be the competition I would have. I'm going to set that up somehow. I'm going to figure everything it takes to make it on the Discord and put the Discord link to make an event. Yeah, that's what I got to do. Oh, yeah, I'm going to work on it. I got y'all covered. We'll do it during the summer. We'll do the competition and we'll have it for, what about 15 weeks, 16, 20 weeks, just to have it an even number. We'll have a competition for 20 weeks. And whatever you can grow in 20 weeks. Like, I guess 20 weeks would be the finishing point. And, you know, I guess depending on what you want, you'll know. Whatever the flowering time, incorporate the flowering time or whatever you're pollinating. And go from there. So it's just 11 week flowering time. You could veg for 9 weeks if you want to, I guess. I'd probably play it safe on the competition part, but it's basically you breeding what you want to breed. That would be, I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna make it a little better. I'm gonna make it actually have some more stakes in it. And we'll find out what's the best. We'll do something with the CJ. I'm gonna get it together. I guess, yeah, we can figure that out on the Discord. Because I'd really like to do that. Just to try and get not even just us, but more people in general growing. If more people hear about this, this is what I wanted to do. When reading all them high times and listening to them different strands, I was like, well, if they can breed this stuff, why can't I breed my own? And I hope I give someone else that spark. That's really what all of that would be about. And y'all seem like y'all pretty much are thorough and know what you're talking about, and it could probably the people to go to help get something like that done. Oh yes, okay, thank you. Yeah, there's a meme. There's a meme. Oh shit, yeah, okay, so let me go. Yeah, I hear my son out there. Let me get out of here. I'm sorry, y'all. I hate to cut y'all off. I'm not gonna close the room, but I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta tend to everybody who's sick. So yeah, this has been a pleasure. I appreciate everyone out there. Yeah, Rumble, YouTube, Twitch. It's been another Sauced Up Sunday. I appreciate it. Y'all enjoy yourselves, because I know I did. And we out. Yeah, hit me on Instagram, hit me, whatever. We'll link up. I'm looking forward to it. I'll make a post or something to put the invite to the Discord so we can kind of set everything up. So it'll be the voice chat and all that crap. Yeah, just give me a couple days. Thank y'all very much.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Don't be such a square. Everybody who's anybody drinks.
Smoke perp to the haze, smoke haze to the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel, and I ain't feeling anything. Chief, I smoke perp to the haze.
How are we supposed to follow that?
To the cheese, smoke cheese to the kush, smoke kush to the sour diesel.
My dog stepped on a bee.